Hello.
Yeah, buddy. So we've gotten a few comments before saying that the first 50 seconds of our videos are completely unlistenable. So I want you to know that, of course, as the guy who wants to run the best show possible, I am deeply saddened by this. And I hope to improve the sound of our audio as episodes go on, that we have like less stupid shit going on in the background.
King, stop!
Especially stuff like that.
I'm muting King. King's been muted.
No, that was both of us.
Oh, both of you are doing that?
Yeah, but we're both doing that.
Okay, now the video is unlistenable.
I hate the soundboard thing, Kyle. What the fuck, man?
Oh,
I hate that if I actually know him.
See, I didn't think that would be Johnny, because I thought Johnny was doing some, heartfelt apology for having shit audio last couple episodes, but no, now I see you self-sabotaging for fun.
You know it's me. You know I'm not going to be that reverent over anything.
Okay.
Kyle, I demand an apology.
Alright, I'm sorry, King.
Thank you for being my scapegoat for this episode.
That's the only reason he brought you on.
Yeah, exactly. If I do anything wrong, you'll be blamed for it. So let's go ahead. Let's go into this. This book is not like the others.
Yes.
This book is not like the others in any way, and Kyle did not enjoy reading this.
And the image you're seeing up on screen right now is basically my thoughts when I was reading the book. I got like halfway through it, and I'm like, this is pointless.
You're just reading this where it's pretty self-explanatory as to what these guys are. It kind of felt a little redundant making a video on this video at all. So this video is going to be compared to the one that we did on the Devil Tigers, the
Resplendent
what
Cranes.
What the fuck were they called? Resplendent Cranes and the Bone Flowers. This is going to be significantly shorter in comparison.
Yes.
But Mandrake is here to be our devil's advocate. He loves these guys. He's been reading about these guys. He's been DMing me about these guys too.
Yes, I love these guys. They're like the fuck it, we ball vampire. What's not love about these guys?
If I wanted fuck it, we ball, I'd play a Devil Tiger.
So to let you know why there is such a massive change when it comes to how this book is written and why it's written this way. So when it comes to guys who wrote this would be Jeffrey C. Grabowski. That sounds normal because he's the same guy who wrote the Devil Tigers book. He's the same guy who is behind the Bone Flowers book. So what's missing here? What's different about this? Well, it's because they realized that a few supplements were missing from the previous guide to the Kuei-Jin, so they shoved them into here. This is where you also get your guide for how you are going to live-action roleplay the Thrashing Dragons as well. So this book got gutted, partially, to make room for the LARP rules.
The fucking Swedes, I swear to God.
I also have to ask a genuine question. Did anyone ever live-action roleplay this game?
No. Because it would have been outlandishly racist.
Actually play a Kindred of the East game?
Yeah, I am highly suspect of that. I don't think that happened.
Wait, actually, no, someone did, but it's in a different language. They're Asians, so.
An actual Asian community, it's like a group of people from China or Japan gathered together to live-action roleplay this.
I mean, they probably roleplayed it because they said in the Devil Tigers book that like, oh, don't bring weapons, don't touch people, don't do crazy shit. So I'm guessing someone roleplayed Kindred of the East.
Yeah, if you've roleplayed Kindred of the East, like, comment, and subscribe. And taking a look at everything else we got here, we got a lot of developers for this tool. We got Philip R. Boole and Cynthia Summers who co-developed this game. Cynthia Summers being your live-action roleplay person. And along with it too, a few details that were missing from previous books because they began to realize that there was a lot of lore involving the Devil Tigers and Resplendent Cranes, and you had to do that for those guys. But for this book, you have to put some parts in for role-playing them. They realized that, sure, you had a Devil Tiger, sure, you had a Resplendent Crane, and there was a bit of a roleplay guide for that, but it wasn't as extensive as it is with the Thrashing Dragons. Because you know what these guys are like, I know what these guys are like, but apparently a lot of people didn't, because you notice that for all the Kindred we've been going over, there's a lot of parallels between them and Canaanite vampires. Well, not so much for the Thrashing Dragons. These guys have more in common with a mage than they do with a vampire. Specifically the Cult of Ecstasy. is what they have a lot in common with.
I was going to
Whole hell of a
compare
lot.
them to the
Well,
Hollow
that's mostly
ones,
due
but
to their
that's just me.
mentality and fucking Buddhism and Taoism.
I would add
The
a little
whole-
bit of werewolf into that, since there are connections with the Yang world and everything that they do with it.
Yeah,
No,
Like,
I'm talking this from a religious point of view and the foundation behind the giant mentality behind them.
and you think there'd be a little bit more of that too, because this really is the one and only group of Kuei-Jin that interacts with the Umbra in any way. And we got a lot of that with the Bone Flowers. We got extensive detail about how they operate with with Yomi, with the Shadowlands, where these are guys who are going into hell, performing jailbreaks from hell to get new Kuei-Jin. And how fucking awesome does that sound? Exactly. That's what I mean. And then we go into these guys who deal with the Umbra, and then fucking nothing happens with this. Like we do have a relationship portion in this book, but we don't really get anything about them collaborating with the Hingei yokai. We don't get any of them having strong opinions on the Makole. We don't have any interactions with mages, period. And what the fuck? Yeah,
They
this
do
is a
have interactions with the Indians, though, with the people from India.
Yeah, the actual Indians, not the Native Americans.
Yes.
When it comes to this comic, you notice this. In the comic, there is of course, Christopher Hart's big book of everything manga drawing of, look at me, I'm just like the guy who made Dragon Ball Z. I can draw in manga too. But I do like there's a artistic difference with it, because anything involving the human realm, you see it's got this very clean line work. Everything is super geometrical. Everything is neat, polished, no overlap with anything. And then the minute the spirit comes in, you see how messy the line work gets on purpose. Just all of a sudden, it looks like whoever drew this just spilled ink all over the page. You have lines going into each other, lines smearing with each other, a very messy background where you can see every individual pen stroke, and it's all done on purpose. So I like that. It makes the Umbra feel different.
Yeah, it's supposed to feel like it's sort of ethereal place in which, it defies all definitions of reality, and I think they did do a good job of that. That is
and you can't make out every detail.
Yeah, that's the one check mark I will give on this book. Even though it does still follow like the anime inspiration of a lot of the other Kindred of the East books, at least it has like a really, unique and verbose style that I really like about it.
And involving some diction, because these books really want to go for fucking diction that nobody ever used in their games. We have a few terms to go over with the Thrashing Dragons. The first one is a sickness. It's called corpse-kissing fever, where all of a sudden a Thrashing Dragon loses their mind and decides they want to have more yin than yang in their body. There's something wrong with that, isn't there?
Yeah, they're the Yang vampires. They're the Yang Kuei-Jin. Like, this is a bad idea.
These guys are dripping with yang, absolutely. You then go into other details like they have different sects that we'll go into later, where they say, "Oh, laughing rainbows, laughing falcons." These are guys who are part of different groups. You don't have to worry about that too yet. And you also have stuff like magistrate subserving dragons, like terms for whether or not you're from the east, west, north, or south. Where I don't think that necessarily matters when it comes to this video. Along with it too, is there any other detail we really need to go over? Because it's a lot of stuff in here that it's terms that you would never really use, like Polong, which is a name for a guy who has mastered Flesh Shintai. We'll go into Flesh Shintai later in the video, but I don't think you really needed a term for that.
I suppose not.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You
really
don't
add
have terms in Vampire the Masquerade for people that mastered Celerity, for example.
I don't know. Honestly, though, I think
No.
celerity is more important enough where I think that it would be cool to have a term for that.
Yeah, exactly. What I mean on the next page, going over that. You see that video of the two vampires there next to the flowers, and you have these two guys who are possessed next to them. The sheer difference between the human and the guy who's possessed by the spirit. Like, you just put the two of them side by side, and you see the light work.
Exactly.
But I will say this about the little comic. I did like it because it shows a very... I like the little story.
With
I just liked it.
While we're drawing comparisons to other splats, I'd say... Go ahead.
Boom. There it is, that picture in Studio Pages.
Okay. But yeah, like while we're
That's
comparing to other splats, I'd say one that this oddly gives me a lot of feeling about is, oddly enough, the Grim Legion from Wraith the Oblivion.
Wraith. Yeah. Well, these guys sound like they should have a lot of responsibility, right? Keeping the spirits at bay.
Mm-hmm.
But
then they just kind of fuck off and do whatever.
In theory, because the meme you got of Smiling Friends, like what's the Grim One do? It really does feel like the entirety of the Kuei-Jin would fall apart if the Resplendent Cranes shrugged off responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Because we said in that Resplendent Cranes video that the Cranes really are holding the entire Kuei-Jin together. No one else can do it but them. The Devil Tigers are the ones who are making all the sweeping efforts in the war effort. The Bone Flowers are the recruitment drive. And then for anyone who needs to fill in for reinforcements, that's the Thousand Whispers. But the Thrashing Dragons are kind of just here.
They do mention that they are a persecuted minority at the start of the book.
For
some reason.
So that would not be in theory that these are the least piperless. Well, no, that's the Thousand Whispers. So if it is our persecuted minority
here, based on the idea and the philosophy behind it, you think they'll be more popular and not rather hated?
Because I'm thinking, like, as difficult as it is to run a Thousand Whisper, and that's the reason why we've saved them for last, because it's such an alien character to play, more so than the Red Talons.
Oh, I do know why they're a persecuted minority. They do mention this. It's because as a Thrashing Dragon, unless you know very well what you're doing and you pace yourself well, like you're trying to eat a full course meal, and you have to pace yourself well. If you don't pace yourself well, you will hit like the 30% cap on enlightenment, and then you stop, and then you just go, well, I can't get enlightenment anymore out of this. So they get mad, they switch to a Resplendent Crane or a Devil Tiger, and they get mad at the Thrashing Dragons. That's why they're a persecuted minority, because most people can't live out the perfect Thrashing Dragon regimen.
And we could say it later, but we'll say it now. This is a group that can be very easily exploited, because the whole shtick with the Thrashing Dragons is that this is the life vampire. You were in hell, and you hated it, and you escaped, you're back on Earth, you're going to love Earth after you come back to it. I mean, you were in hell, you know how bad it can get. As bad as you thought your life was on Earth, there was something worse, and you were there, and now you're out of it. So you're going to be back here and appreciate the world you have around you, but that can also lead you to being easily exploited by every other Kuei-Jin. Because, what does this do? It lets the Resplendent Cranes know that you have an incentive. They will dangle these low rewards in front of your face, and you will do the bidding of the Cranes, because the Cranes know what you want and know that you will do what they say to get what you want. The Devil Tigers know perfectly how to fuck with you. They know what you love, and they will destroy it right in front of you, knowing how much it will fuck you up, and they will love doing it to you, because the Devil Tigers' whole shtick is just being in the business of misery. And the Yin Prana, the Bone Flowers, are going to look at you and realize that you're so attached to the world around them. The Bone Flowers are all about logic, so of course they're going to plan out a way to exploit you, the same way the Resplendent Crane does, or a way to perfectly demolish you, the same as the Devil Tigers. And the Thousand Whispers are, of course, masters of change, who can just go in, ruin the business of a Thrashing Dragon, and then dip, and no one will ever know. It's that easy. This is a very strong group when you start looking at their mechanics, but they are very easy to mess with. These guys have their hearts on their sleeves, and because they're this sensitive and this emotional by the nature of being a Thrashing Dragon, you know how to hit these guys where it hurts.
Yeah, but they're also very much I think they're like the second most martial group out of the Kuei-Jin, because, like I said, they go into India and they fuck shit up like crazy.
And Greedy, you were saying?
Yeah, I was about to say, to clarify for those who aren't looking at the comic page, the little comic, I think it was like 5 pages, was just basically a woman who said, I died, I went to hell, I came back as a Thrashing Dragon, and I finally had a child. Because they really do love life, and not just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. They really just love life and all that it grants.
Because unlike a canine vampire, your cock and balls still work as a Kuei-Jin, and your pussy still works too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
One
As
thing
we're saying about a reference.
Yeah. One thing I would like to say is might be a slight spoiler, I don't know. But these guys love life so much that like they go full on Solaire and they just pose and greet the sun each day.
And a little bit their body rots off in doing so.
Yeah, small
Yeah,
price
but
tag.
they do have the ability because they're so yen-like that they actually develop a certain amount of resistance to sunlight.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you said they're so martial, because with the Yang prana benefit, you can go into sunlight and survive it for a short time only, which is why when it comes to getting the Ravnos out of India ASAP, this is the group that you want to send.
Yeah.
Because after
also
all...
the face of the gods.
Because after all, Greed, how quickly can a Ravnos fuck up your day if they know what they're doing?
If a Ravnos knows what they're doing, they can ruin you immediately.
Oh, but with that, you've seen episodes of JoJo's Grease by Night game, so just imagine a Ravnos on the same level of power as all of his other player characters getting in and just doing his damage and dipping.
Mm.
Yep.
Because I'll give a great scenario. Come on.
Me? Okay. Funny thing that you mentioned it. With Yen Prana, they do mention, I think it's like level 2, you can make illusions, but it seems like it's a lot more limited than a Ravnos. It seems like it's like a illusion that you wear as a shell around you, and that's more so than it is like, oh, I make this chandelier look like a blazing inferno, for example.
Because with the Ravnos, that really is one of the strongest guns in Vampire. I still swear to you that from a pure mechanical power standpoint, if I'm going to go in and I'm going to fuck up your day, the Sombra and the Bruja are still the top picks in that, but the Ravnos is right behind that because of all the sheer amount of shit you can do with chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry is a pretty busted thing. I mean, like... Go ahead.
If the Ravnos had celerity on top of that, that would be the de facto strongest clan.
Yes.
No doubt.
Well, I'm of this opinion. Chemistry is very broken once it reaches Elder level, but before that, not that broken.
Well, you're also seeing we do the Rage Cross Miami series. You see how well Ryan has taken to playing as a Ravnos, and how well he's using chemistry to where it's starting to throw off Kyle.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty great.
I mean, definitely. No, definitely.
It's great to watch him at it
doing
because
that, but I will note
it's really interesting to see how creative he can get with that ability.
Because I tell you, Ryan, the minute you drop a game in his lap, he will crack it in 10 minutes. You will know exactly what he's doing. You were saying, Greed?
Yeah. I would say I will note that's also mostly because there's not a lot of characters with aspects to counter that.
Oh, yeah. Well, aspects is pretty rare too, because like who has that? The Malkavians?
It's a really good discipline. People forget how good Auspex is.
And let's be real, there's not a single Tremere player that actually carries Auspex.
Yeah. I was actually looking into chemistry today because like one of my players has chemistry. I think to break out of chemistry, the rules is like perception awareness, I think. Even if you don't have Auspex, you can just do perception awareness.
Well, you can naturally get through it with your own normal senses, but Auspex would make that so much easier.
That is true.
Because fuck you.
And so the reason why we're going on this tangent, keep in mind, this is the group that is going against the Ravnos on a daily basis when we mention this. I swear to you, the Devil Tigers do a better job at this, but the Thrashing Dragons are your rank and file soldier. Even though a Devil Tiger can do what they can do, but better. I swear that to you.
Yes.
Well, I guess too, from a warrior standpoint, you know how the Devil Tigers refuse to bite down on the lollipop when they have it in their mouths. That you need to wait to get to the Tootsie Roll center before they start biting. But a Thrashing Dragon, your teeth be damned, you will chomp down on the hard candy the minute it enters your mouth. You will immediately go ham on it. And it will result in a lot of dead Thrashing Dragons, and the Devil Tigers will, of course, swoop in and get the glory for the kill, and they'll say, I did the whole operation by myself, as the Devil Tigers will, but the Thrashing Dragons will always make first contact with whatever conflict the Kuei-Jin are going into. This will always be, if you're running the Kuei-Jin right in your Vampire games, this is the first Kuei-Jin you meet. in the game. Unless your campaign went way off the rails and you had a Tremere that went to the Shadowlands and you encountered a bone flower. Like, what the fuck are your players doing?
I will
going
say
that
this
far
here.
off the
I just thought about this. I just thought about this one here. If Devil Tigers and the Thrashing Dragons are the both martial groups of the two, but they're different. But the martial is one way. The Devil Tigers are martial because they want to learn how to hurt you. The reason why the Thrashing Dragons are martial is because they want to learn how to use their bodies.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're the hot-blooded anime character fighter. They're fucking Kenpachi Zaraki on top of like being Cult of Ecstasy member. That's what I love
They
these
will be
fuckers.
like.
I'm certain
100%
that. What?
Go on. No, I was about to say they would 100% walk into a fight carrying 2 swords and throw you the other one. They say, "Let's go, bitch."
I'm certain that Archie will appreciate the reference you just made. I've never met a bigger Bleach fan than Archie, but going into the rest of this, you might be wondering, Johnny, what is taking you so long to get to the history section? There is no history in this book. There's none.
There's skips just right ahead of that.
I was shouting this at Celesta and Mandrake yesterday. The allegorical character of Shui is never mentioned in this book. I looked for his name in this book. He never comes up.
That's because I believe it's because they start with someone called the Thousand Cranes Mother, or that's like a very important central figure for them, not Shui.
She was the first lady to ever figure out how to become a Thrashing Dragon. Okay, well, who told her how to become a Thrashing Dragon?
She just figured it out. Just like the Buddha. She sat under a tree for a century and then became enlightened.
And then that's the whole shtick behind these guys is that, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this within this group? The Thrashing Dragons just look at you and say, figure it out on your own. For our history, figure it out on your own. How to become a Thrashing Dragon enlightened, figure it out on your own. How to use these powers, figure it out on your own. They don't explain a damn thing to you, and that is by design. The Thrashing Dragons have well and truly killed their own past. There is nothing of their past life left. And even as a Thrashing Dragon, once you become a new Thrashing Dragon, a Chime, you have no connection to the life that you lived. It is a blank slate for every Thrashing Dragon who comes in, because your life prior to you going to hell must have been pretty shit if you went to hell. There must have been something bothering you, something tying you down to this world, something that caused you to go to hell. So the minute you become a Thrashing Dragon and come back out, fuck it. Just whatever responsibility you had, your family, your kids, your job, whatever you had, forget about it. It's no longer your concern when you are a Thrashing Dragon. That's the whole shtick. I'm going to find out what caused me all my misery, and instead of destroying it, like the Devil Tigers would, the Thrashing Dragons just say, not my problem. Hands off, not my problem.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's the dude abides. And you could say that there is something kind of like profound in this, because as you just referenced to Big Lebowski.
Yes.
Kyle,
who is
what was the best course of action in Big Lebowski?
To do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, exactly that. What was the best course of action in Burn After Reading?
To do nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So the Thrashing Dragons say, the reason why I went to hell and the reason why there's all this conflict is because I'm making stuff that is not my problem. If I do not get involved in anything, if I don't start none, there won't be none. And after I don't start none, is there anything left for there to be? No. So all my problems are solved. I made nothing my problem, therefore I have no problems.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that one meme where it's like have a problem, don't worry about it. Problem goes away. It's that easy, bros.
You just ignore the massive amount of medical debt you're accumulating from you not paying your hospital bills, your house going to shit around you, all this other stuff. This is a group that I fundamentally disagree with as a person.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. As much as I would like to ignore everything and have no problems, I sadly can't.
Because we both acknowledge that there's a lot of responsibility that we need to find in the world. That we both want to be people that want to rise up and be someone special. Even even if we're never going to make it on YouTube because World of Darkness is a dead fandom, even if we don't become the best in our personal careers, we want to see how far we can go. And the way that you test that is that you take upon more responsibility and become an important person by taking on burdens. That's how that works. The Thrashing Dragons don't believe in that at all. And we don't really see any wisdom in this because we just aren't those people. At least for me and Kyle, as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
But I'm certain there's a lot of people out there that are suffering from horrible anxiety that want to take on all these different responsibilities, want to take the pain of other people and make it their own, take on way too many projects at work because they think they're the only people that can handle a project, people that want to take on all the financial responsibility of a house, say that I'm the only one that can get this done, I need to be the one that does the cooking, the cleaning, the everything, I need to make sure the kids are ready for school, I need to go to work and make sure that I'm home in order to get the kids on the carpool back home, and then we have dinner with this family, and then you just keep on accepting new stuff when you just need to take a step back because you're doing so much for other people, you can't do anything for yourself.
Oh, yeah. You gotta eventually know when to say when with these kinds of things. It's like, I was described recently, somebody said that I'm currently in my yes era, as in I've been saying yes to a lot of things, but I will say, though, as much fun as it is having all these opportunities, it is exhausting.
Because I started quickly realizing that I do not have the spare time I used to, where part of it is my own fault, my own decision, because do I need to be involved in tabletop RPG games every day of the week except for Sunday and Monday? No, I really don't have to, but I want to. That we have Mage the Ascension on Tuesday. I'm running a small vampire game that I'm going to end soon on Wednesday, and then it's going to become something else because I want to keep that group going. I like the way that JoJo, Metal, and Solista, and of course 3HP is in the group too, play the game. I want to see as far as we can go with the Thursday doing a live play. And then Mike Lawson's running a game on Friday. And then we have, 3 games I'm part of on Saturday? I'm in Fox's game that he's running, and Fox Kitty, that's our Russian friend. Mandrake's game, and then Greed's running Orpheus. And of course I wasn't going to say no to that. And
you do love Orpheus more than anything.
Because tabletop RPGs have become my main way to unwind now. But this is the only hobby I can really think of where you need to set dedicated times to watch something. I mean, you probably also have going to movies where you need to schedule that. Or if you have cable, you need to schedule when shows are happening. Even though, just get a VCR or some any other recording shit. And just record the show that way and you can just watch on demand in your own time.
Yeah.
Watching movies whenever you felt like it was way easier back when you had a VHS. Now you gotta go for streaming and all that stuff. You could have just gotten a blank VHS tape and record that. It would have been so much easier.
Motherfuckers, buy a DVD, download it. Fuck streaming. Download your shit.
I've got quite a few DVDs, actually. I've got a pretty extensive collection.
I mean, the most that Dollar General charges for a DVD is like $10, and that's about it.
Yep. Cheap, easy entertainment.
Also, unlike all of you guys, I am a reader, so I don't really have to worry about all that shit.
That's true. I am illiterate, so.
There's easier ways to entertain yourself, but I want to, of course, take all this time upon myself because this is something that I want to do. But at the same time, as a responsible adult, where Kyle, I'm working 50 hours a week, I have to, of course, have to show, and these are things that I don't really have to do, but I want to do them.
Exactly, because you're the only one who can do them.
And everything I just said, a Thrashing Dragon would look at me and say, "What the fuck's your problem? How about you just relax and do nothing?"
I mean, trust me, I would like to relax and do nothing, but I also want to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Thrashing Dragon would compare you to a resplendent crane to an extent, and then just say, "Fuck it, bro! I'm going to the beach surfing." Like that's it. I'm just gonna go to the beach surfing.
If you we were to do what?
Nah, well, I guess we could talk about the mentality of the Thrashing Dragons at this point, finally.
Because when it comes to, say, you have a beach vacation you want to do, the Resplendent Crane is going to have an entire timetable of stuff that we got to do. A Bone Flower or Devil Tiger will come in with things that they want to do on their mind and days that they will do it. A Thrashing Dragon says, "I'm at the beach. I'll do it if I feel like it."
Yeah,
All
they'll
right.
say, I'm going to bury myself in sand. I'm going to go under the ocean. I'm going to surf. I'm going to fuck. I'm going to probably fight a guy at the bar.
Just whatever. Just whenever I feel like doing something, I'll do it. If I don't want to do it, then I won't do it. But I might change my mind, and then I'm just going to leave the door open for whatever I feel like doing at the time.
Now, here's one of the things about them that make them very realistic and sound like an actual faction. Because they remind me of the Red Talons in the sense is, are they optimal meta-wise? No, but would a group like this naturally exist? Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the shit they do, this really is a brand new idea to World of Darkness, technically, when it comes to vampires. Because I really do not have a Canine vampire to compare them to.
Yeah, because like
Well,
the
I guess
big
you
thing
could get
behind
smart
them
and
is
say, oh, it's a caitiff. It's a caitiff. You could say that, but fuck your caitiff. I don't care.
no. They're
Yes, fuck the
more.
chaos.
They're more. What's the artsy vampires?
Torador?
Toreador. They live for themselves and no one else because they died. They somehow came back. They have a bunch of powers, and they basically said, "I live again."
And
You know,
even
let's have
then,
fun with this.
even then, a Torador will still take responsibility because how much stuff in vampire lore was started by the Torador?
Well, the Camarilla.
Constantinople.
Oh, quite a
Constantinople,
lot, but that's
Rome, France, like architecture in America, all this shit was built by a Torador. And then meanwhile, the Thrashing Dragons built nothing.
Yeah, they just
the world
kind of hung around and was like,
No,
"Oh, life is
they
great. I'm
will.
gonna just smoke this
They're-
bowl here real quick."
There
I will
are
say here that's
like,
mostly because of self-interest.
He's struggling over
I
here.
would say that like there are some factions within the Thrashing Dragons that are more constructive, but I will leave that for when we discuss the factions.
Right. Because after all, you're filled with yang. It's direct life energy. If you were to think about the two places you could step sideways to, I remember, Mandrake, you asked me this when we were running the werewolf game yesterday, where we were stepping sideways as werewolves, and you said, well, is Izu going to come with us? And I said, yes, but Izu has to take a different road. Well, everyone else stepped sideways to the Umbra. Izu, who is our bone flower, had to go into the Shadowlands and take a similar route. So he was traveling with us, but not really. It's if you had a highway that you drove down, and on the top part is the Umbra. Underneath that road would be the Shadowlands, and you're driving in the same direction. You just don't ever interact with each other, and that's the difference between the yin and the yang. It's the same thing, but you go off in two different ways to where they never actually intersect at any point. It's two parallel lines go the same way. You have the Yin Realm, which is the Shadowlands by another name, that's filled with people who died, and that's where spirits, souls are. You then have the Umbra, which is technically an afterlife because heaven is a place in the Umbra. You can go there and you can leave there, and it's filled with spirits, and it's the same thing as the Shadowlands, but one is a place that's black and white and miserable and has thunderstorms that will roll in and kill you. And the other one is a land where everything that ever lived has a representation. Everything that continues to live that never really was a human to begin with. Animals are there, buildings are there, plants are there, abstract concepts are there, stuff that never really had a heartbeat in our world exists in the Yang realm, but it's just as dangerous because this is a place where death is pretty loose, and if you get destroyed, you can just respawn, so everything there tends to pick fights with you.
And the Thrashing Dragons are just cracking their knuckles, putting their tongue out and saying, bring it.
I mean, in this Asia, you can run into some very weird ass spirits. I don't like the spirit of, I don't fucking know, of 100-year-old sword that got lost. Now you get your ass beat by a sword spirit.
And then meanwhile, in the Yin realm, you just get, oh, I'm a guy who had 3 kids and I died from being hung, and now I'm here.
Or for a random example, you ran into a guy from the Yellow Band Rebellion that's somehow still there.
And he's still here. He still hasn't moved on. The rebellion was how many years ago? It's time for you to cut this shit out. No. Last standing man of my regiment. I'm holding on to this way of life that doesn't exist anymore. If I go, it's all gone forever. Well, fuck it. Who
Galliard?
cares?
You know, it's in the history
I
books.
actually
We
bothered
write
to
these
read
things
a
called
history
history
book-
books.
If I bothered to read an actual history book, I would probably do a Kindred of the East game, but during the Yellow Band Rebellion, because that shit was wild.
Dude, remember the Three Kingdoms?
Amakusa rebelling with Shiro Amakusa and like the Christian persecution. Fuck it. We've all.
You have to,
Ooh.
because there was something here. I had to forget exactly here. It mentions some guy shot lasers out of their eyes in the actual history books.
Oh
was
yeah, that's
wild.
right.
Chinese mythology is very fun. Chinese history is very fun.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the Yang. You go into a realm, the Yang realm, where it's constantly filled with life of stuff that never really got to move around on Earth. And sure, you have spirits that will go to sleep for 100 years, but there's always spirits moving around. The Umbra is never empty. You always encounter something in the
No.
Umbra. You will always have a random encounter table to roll when you step into the Umbra. And behold, you're playing a Get Ephemeris campaign. You step sideways. Now you're fighting the Cert. Now you're fighting the A-Gear. Did you plan on doing this? Nobody's here, and he's fighting you now. Meanwhile, in the Shelllands, you're just over here in a land that's just a gray desert with a black sky and a thumb up your ass, and that's all you have. So, stuff is always happening in the life of a Thrashing Dragon in comparison. Compared to the Bonars, not the Bonars, the Bone Flowers, where nothing happens.
Yes.
I wouldn't say nothing happens. They have to deal with the Yellow Emperor, that fucking Tatarian dickhead.
Yeah, when something happens in the Yin realm, it's something fucking big. It's huge, big news. But the Yang realm, so much stuff happened in such a short amount of time. You're surprised. Like you stepped in here at 5 a.m. It's now 5 p.m, and you didn't even notice. You didn't notice that much shit happened in that much time.
How can you
12
not
hours.
love that? It's just fun all around.
Time goes very slow feeling in the Yin realm. Time is very fast in the Yang realm, for example. And and you think that, oh, well, the book would go into more detail with these guys being in the Umbra all the time when it doesn't. But let's actually take the time think about this. These are Kuei-Jin that directly deal with the Umbra. So where can we go with that as an idea?
Fetishes. Binding spirits.
Yeah, there's a lot of rituals.
You can't wait to think simple with it. They are always on the move. They're always doing something. For example, here's a character concept. For a someone who likes to go into the Yin realms. Shit, I'm so sorry that took so while for my brain to function.
The Yang realm.
Yang realms. He just likes the idea of pushing his body to the limits, and well, he just enters there to find the literal spirits of martial arts, because that's where martial arts started. The fucking Asia, China, find the actual spirits of martial arts.
Because when it comes to these, with what you just said, when it comes to these guys, the key difference between them and a Double Tiger is the experience. A Double Tiger, of course, wants to have something melt in their mouth, but a Thrashing Dragon will say, for example, I want to have sex, and they go off and they have sex, and they say, all right, I had it. Well, how good was it? And they'll think about it and evaluate it and say, well, we did the missionary position. What if we tried the mastery position? What if we tried the Amazon's position? Let's cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, spooning. Let's have this book called the Kama Sutra. There's, as it turns out, 60 other positions I haven't tried yet. Okay, now I've had them all with this same person. Okay, now what?
Next
with
person.
a different person.
Let's do it as a group. Let's do two different genders.
Let's do the three-way. Let's do the four-way. Have you ever heard of a love train? We're going to find out.
Let's
just all day. Just
you're thinking with the Thrashing Dragons. Let's do a Triforce. Well, what's a Triforce? Well, what a Triforce
you stop that right now.
You get three men stand on each other.
We're gonna stop.
Hip to hip.
They're gonna stop that right now.
You use the dicks to form a triangle shape, and that's a Triforce.
No. That's
Johnny, you should probably do us all a favor and shut the fuck up right now.
and
we're gonna get censored.
And then behold, that's what the Thrashing Dragons would do. They would create the Triforce, and then they would tell the people about the Triforce. They'd do the Triforce with the men.
Okay, you sexually degenerate. That's enough.
That's what they do. No, it's not degenerate enough. We haven't gotten enough detail with the Thrashing Dragons.
But
I'm telling
so you couldn't tell the well, to summarize their
these
mentality
guys are
again,
one thing, and it's sexy. That's all
no,
they are.
actually yes, but also they are all about human life and all itself. And yes, sex is a huge part of life, despite what a lot of prudes and a lot of people try to act like. No, sex is a huge part of human society.
You can
And
have
a very large part.
a Thrashing Dragon say, I want to start exploring the use of drugs. It turns out that the United States government has banned these things since the 60s, and they were onto something. They called it telepathy. I want to do it. And you'll have a Thrashing Dragon that starts with mushrooms. Okay, you do mushrooms. And you experiment with how to do mushrooms. You're in a room with this on the ceiling. You're in a room with white walls. You're in water when you do mushrooms. And then you start recording the experience and say, I want to take a step up. So you start doing acid. And after that, you move on to salvia. And then you say, well, what if I combine this with crack? And then you start doing that. And that's kind of experimentation with the Thrashing Dragons will do. What is the most optimal way to enjoy blank?
It's always something like do fuckloads of drugs, drink a lot, and then fuck everybody you look at.
But it's not just sex and drugs when it comes to these guys, too, because the book mentions later on that there's other things to get out of life than just sex and drugs. These guys say, do not be a hedonist. We want to enjoy life, but there's more to life than that, because there's stuff that you can do that cannot be replicated by just sex and drugs, because what's the aftermath of sex? Pregnancy. There can be joy from having a child. You have a kid in your life that is yours biologically, and you get to enjoy the experience of raising a kid. And then because you're a Kuei-Jin, you live for years and years and years. Okay, so your kid is now an adult man, and then he has kids of his own, and then you're a grandparent now. But what if you want to have a kid again? Well, you're a Kuei-Jin, you don't have an expiration date. You can just make another kid. And so you do. And then behold, as you have entire families across Asia that all stem from one member of the Thrashing Dragons. You get to Genghis Khan with these guys.
Yes.
I make no exaggeration when I say that.
Yes. Though they also like other types of experiences, like if they're yen aligned, well, even more yen in balance, they're like, I want to catch a disease. What? I don't know, tuberculosis, HIV,
the bug chaser.
Anything like COVID. I guess you can say that.
Go to Africa and get bitten by a mosquito to get
Ebola?
a disease nobody's ever heard of before.
Yeah, Ebola, and they're also like they got a little bit of bone flour in them to an extent, because they're like, oh yeah, what if I just offed myself? What does that feel like?
You start doing the best part of Groundhog Day, where you go into a hotel, you take a toaster in the bathtub with you, and you drop it in, and you get to say, okay, well, what did that feel like?
Like burying myself alive. What does that feel like? Ritual disembowelment. What does that feel like?
Shoving this broomstick up my ass. What does that feel like?
By the way, they will just do horrible shit to their own bodies just to see what it feels, the sensation, because they know they'll survive it.
Very much like the berserk sex of the Cult of Ecstasy, where you don't have just members that just do drugs amongst the Cult of Ecstasy. You had Norse berserker examples of the Cult of Ecstasy that went into battle to get cut up as much as possible because they enjoyed the sensation of bleeding. And you can have that with the Thrashing Dragons. You can have them. You look at these guys, Kyle, in your encounter for your World Darkness game. You see a Thrashing Dragon running towards you naked with a knife. And you're thinking, okay, well, this guy's fucking crazy, and then that's kind of the point, because he's intentionally taking damage from your attacks, and while he's attacking you. And this is all because he wants to enjoy the sensation of fighting you and getting fought by you at the same time.
Yeah,
that's kind of insane, actually.
But then there's one very interesting thing that they say. They mention it like 3 times in the book. And I don't know if this is every Thrashing Dragon or just a Thrashing Dragon that's like more along their dharma. They do say, never fight a battle that will cripple you permanently.
Yeah, don't be suicidal when you play as a Thrashing Dragon. Do not go into the Getafimmer's cairn with being naked with only a knife. That's not something you're going to come back from. Don't do an experience that is a one-time only experience, and then you can't experience anything after that. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's like somebody...
Well, I mean, to be fair here, what the fuck type of Getafimmer's campus in Asia?
I don't know. Henge yokai are weird, man.
You see the stargazers with all these Karens that they had to leave behind to go to Tibet. Well, Geffenris can just come in and take them.
Some German expat just wanders onto a mountain in Tibet. It's like, oh, Caesar has great knowledge here and an open connection to Umbra. I should call some of my friends and take this over.
And that's it. That's how you play Geffenris. Conquest.
They're not German. Wait, actually, they're Nordic. Yeah, no, they could be German. Hold on. Fuck.
But then I'll pretend to be Felix Schellberg, and then I'll go like, what if I got all my friends together and went to
bros? My name is PewDiePie, and today we're going to take over this Metcalf in the Himalayas, bros.
A PewDiePie werewolf would be really fucking funny.
That's like a fucking YouTuber Geffenris.
Oh my god!
That shit needs to
He'd
die.
He'd be a fitness influencer if it was a get.
That shit needs to die immediately.
Galliard, get a Fenris.
You say fitness influencer. That was Carla Grimson in Rage Across Australia. That's what she was. When I ran Rage Across Australia, she owned a boxing gym.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And when it comes to these guys too, the book immediately goes into a relationship page on page 15. That is super early for relationships.
That was one thing I noticed. I'm like, damn, did I miss something, or are they just really rushing this along?
But going into it, we have skipping along with these pages. Let's go into the actual tenets. You know how there's a litany for every single Kuei-Jin? Well, we can go over this one with them. We have 8 tenets to go off of. There's a fascination with the number 8 with these guys.
Again, I believe 8's a lucky number in Chinese mythology.
It's also the number of corn, I believe. I believe it's also the number of corn.
Corn is 7.
Nurgle. That's Nurgle.
Okay, my bad.
No, 8.
That's Nurgle.
Hold on, who the fuck?
8 is Nurgle, 7's corn.
No, I thought 8 was Zinch. Hold on, let me actually look this up.
Not 9 is Zinch. We're getting to the bottom of this. We're doing
Warhammer now. Fuck the Thrashing Dragon.
This is our segment. It's called Prove Greed Wrong. Let's see when it comes to this. What the fuck is this? No, there's no way I'm wrong about this. Is Nurgle 7?
Yeah, Zinch is 9. Fuck, I was wrong. Right? Nah, fuck, you got me. Zinch is 9.
There's a bit of trepidation there.
Corn is 8. Nurgle is 7. And Slanesh is 6. Fuck. All right, you got me.
Fuck, like Nurgle 7. I actually did get it wrong. I was wrong.
So both of you are wrong.
Sorry, Corn is 8? Did I get it right?
Corn is 8, yeah.
Yes, Corn is 8.
To quote, I forgot the musician. Jonathan Young, Mighty Hearts of 8 in my Mighty Legions 8.
Well, that's a
yeah. Regardless here, China has a very... same thing with the West, has a lot of things with certain numbers like 7 and 8, but China takes it to a huge variation. There's a lot of sacred numbers and mystic numbers in China.
When it comes to 8 in Asia, to bring up if we might want to keep going on this fucking 8-bit. Now let's actually go on to this fucking litany. Let's just go ahead and get into it. All right. So the first tenet, attunement to life. Attune to yourself to life in all its forms. If something is alive, be happy it's alive. You only get to experience things for just a short amount of time. I believe there's a Bible quote that goes along the lines of, there's a time and place for everything and it won't last forever. So while it's here, enjoy it while it is here. And that's something you need to appreciate. They say that a wolf or a tiger cannot become anything more than a chi-mei, because you need to acknowledge that it's more important than just the sum of its parts. You're looking at something and saying, oh, we have a cat that's alive. Well, you can always just swap out that cat for another cat. I mean, who really gives a shit? But no, this one specific cat is here and with you now, and enjoy the cat while it's here, because this cat is only going to exist for a short amount of time. Unless you do something with your, Kuei-Jin powers. You do what my fucking mage players did, where you give a cat an avatar and see how well that goes.
Did the cat ascend?
Hold on, how the fuck would you give it... Johnny, how the fuck did they give a cat an avatar?
It became a Eutanatos, one of the inverted kinds.
Cool.
No. How the fuck did the players give the cat an avatar?
It's now the final boss of that mage game.
That's honestly really funny. That's hilarious. Just
fucking. I can't. I
Roll
don't
with
want to
it,
hear your
Greed,
mage
and just
campaign because it
accept
makes
it.
no sense.
We're broken with this one.
Just accept it, Greed.
Yeah. Never mind.
The explanation with mage is that it's mage the ascension. Anything's possible in mage because the mage players, mage writers also said, fuck it, you're a wizard. You can just do shit. You can just make the fucking Bastet. You can make it with Luna.
That shit was retarded, and I rejected.
It wasn't all mage, but Luna was involved with a mage making the Bastet. So wizards can just do fucking anything. Like we've got progenitors.
Look here, I will make this very clear, Johnny. The person who wrote that book, and if you remember correctly during the Bastet episode, was a mage writer. So
was Philip Brucato, yes.
Oh no!
Everything.
Oh no!
The minute you see Philip Brucato's name in anything, that's the Houndeville woman. But going into it, the truth behind the first tenet is that most Thrashing Dragons agree with this, and those who don't rapidly descend into fucking Akuma. Because how many Thrashing Dragons lose their way? Because we said it before in this video that a lot of them will hit a wall, a ceiling with the Yang Chi, and will become resplendent cranes or devil tigers instead. But just as common, how many of them become Akuma? Exactly that.
Akuma?
Because keep in mind that this is the World of Darkness and there is a very active worm at play. With everything we just described about enjoying life, imagine just how easy it is for the Defiler worm to get their hands on a Thrashing Dragon.
How easy as hell.
Consider him. You can have a Thrashing Dragon that says, I want to try out a King Brewery's beer and then just see how the downward spiral goes from there. You cracked open a shitty 5.1% ABV beer, and now your life is over because you now have a Bane inside of you. Incredible. And I don't think the Kuei-Jin have the same protections from Banes the same way that the vampires do.
They do have protection against Bloodborne of all things. They do have protection against the Bloodborne of all things.
Well, the big reason why vampires are basically immune to every form of Bane possession is because the fucking curse itself refuses to be side-saddled by anything.
The beast is inside of you and will actively fight off Bane possession.
What about the Poe?
Yeah. No.
Well, the Poe is there too, but I don't think it's as nasty as the beast.
No, your Poe is part of your human nature. The Bane is a curse from God, so one is vastly easier to subvert.
You can work with the Poe. You have to satiate the beast. That's the key difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
The second tenet, indulgence in passion. Meditate upon passions. Do not shut them up or out, but experience them, learn from them, and encourage them for others. How many of you in this call watched Ratatouille?
I did.
Same. I did.
Do you remember the scene where Remy is trying to convince his friend to experience food? There's a scene earlier where Remy eats, I think it's like a piece of cheese and a cherry or something.
Yep.
And you see like the background goes black, and he's going through all of these different emotions, like fireworks are going off and shit as he's experiencing.
Yeah, I remember exactly the scene.
And then you go over to the brown rat. I'm forgetting what the brown rat name is called, but it's not that important. And he goes over to the brown rat, who just says, "Here, try this out, experience the food," and he just immediately devours the cheese, and he scolds him for it.
Don't just hork it down.
Sorry, as he says with his mouth full, half swallowing already. That's the thing with them. With the Thrashing Dragon, of course, consumption was part of the name of the game, but don't immediately guzzle it down. You have a wine in front of you, and of course you could just turn the whole bottle bottoms up and just chug the whole wine bottle, and then there you go, you're now of wine. Did you actually enjoy the wine that you just spent $23 on? No, with these guys, pour out not even a wine glass, but like a small glass. And then put the wine in your mouth, have it sit there for a few seconds, then swallow it. That's how a Thrashing Dragon would do it. I want to taste the grapes. I want to know how strong the alcohol is. I want to be able to sense every other flavor that's in the wine. And then as I drink it and I feel the effects of the alcohol, I want it to be a slow progression towards drunkenness. or just whatever buzz or tipsiness, however much alcohol you might consume, and that's it. You don't consume it immediately the same way that Fomori does. I compared the Thrashing Dragons to Fomori before multiple times, but these guys are teetering on becoming Fomori, but they're smart enough to not become a Fomori. Because a Fomori would just eat something right in front of them and not even taste it. But Thrashing Dragon, no, you gotta take your time with enjoying life's pleasures. And you have to fully understand not just that it is good, but what makes it good.
Is this a good time to mention that these guys are...
them with the truth.
I believe that this is only mentioned in the original Kuei-Jin book when they have like the little entries for each of the dharmas. But is this a good time to mention that these fuckers are cannibals as well sometimes? Sometimes, not always.
Yeah, they'll do that. They do the ad of the guy from Germany that said, I want an assistant that's good enough to eat. And then you do that.
Yeah, they will just nibble on you. They will nibble on your ear, and then it's like, oh, I thought this was kinky, but why is my ear missing now? And then they will nibble on your liver, then they'll nibble on your thigh, and on your fingers.
And of course, because if they're going to eat you, they're going to make sure you're alive the entire process.
Yes.
I'm trying to look at this. I'm typing in assistant good enough to eat, and I'm not getting results that I'm looking for. It's the guy from Germany who did it.
Yeah.
Now,
what the
I
fuck
do want to ask this question. I keep forgetting the name here. I keep forgetting. What's the name of the arts vampires again? How do I forget their clan name? Toreador. This is the reason why I call the Thrashing Dragons Toreadors. They're similar hedonistic, but differently hedonistic.
A Toreador is like cold-blooded hedonism. Like they're a lot more like surface
more materialistic about it, I suppose.
Well, the Thrashing Dragons are hot-blooded pumping hedonists.
Yeah, they want the feeling, they want the emotion, they want the full experience.
There it is. Armin Mewes. How the fuck do you pronounce this last name? Meiwes.
Muse?
Yeah. Well, I think was it Count Dankula made a video about that guy, guy who put like an ad posting for eating.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. He that was like the German guy, the consensual cannibal.
Yeah. In 2001. That's how old this. That was 25 years ago.
Damn! Imagine like 2001 meeting people on a forum who got off on cannibalism and then agreed to do it with him.
That shit sounds like it shouldn't be real, but it is.
To our dismay, it is real.
Reality is stranger than fiction. Reality is stranger than fiction, King.
I don't like that. That's actually a thing. Fucking, why do we share the same species? You.
Let me send you the Wikipedia page. While I send you this next bit. The third tenet of this. Stewardship of creation. This is what separates them from being Fomori. Use your power as a farmer employs his threshing tools. Break the stalks, gather the rice, scare the seeds, let them grow. You can go and you can just immediately devour something like, oh, here's our one and only endangered red-ribbed rhinoceros. You can shoot him and eat him today. And a Thrashing Dragon does that and says, oh, that was really good. I'd like to have that a second time, but I can't because the one and only rhinoceros I could eat was dead. Okay, well, that's the end of that, and then you just go about the rest of your life imagining, well, what could have been? No, what you want to do is you want to have the rhinoceros reproduce, have more rhino kids, have a set up environment where the rhinoceros can thrive, have a new habitat, save the species from being critically endangered, to just being vulnerable, to just being normal, and then you eat it.
Yeah, these guys are very eco-friendly. Like, actually, unironically.
You actually want to make sure that you have something left behind for the next Thrashing Dragon behind you to try it and experience for himself. You don't want to keep something to yourself. Never. That's not what a Thrashing Dragon wants to do. And if you are doing it, you're coming very close to becoming a Kuma.
Yep, you got to spread the love, man.
Is up to that. You want to enjoy...
I forget this here. I didn't read the book too hard. I think the book mentioned scorpions.
Scorpios.
Which is what they're called.
Well, I'll have you know that's a gay club down here in Charlotte.
Good to know.
It goes by that name.
Why do you, Johnny?
The moment you said that, my mind.
gays
The moment you said that, my mind immediately snapped to that.
Johnny, I don't hate you, but you're making me hate the gays. Why do you like this?
Jesus Christ.
Kyle is your lifeline to sanity.
Yeah, this is just where I am now. I'm not even surprised anymore. It just happens.
The fourth tenet.
Get your boy, Kyle. Get your boy.
I can't. He's off the rails, man.
The fourth tenet, slay the dying. Help
That
all
honestly
living
would be a
beings
sick
thrive.
band name, though. Slay the Dying.
When something appears to be dying,
is.
consume it and send it back into its cycle. Euthanasia. Yeah.
And,
You're Thanatos now. Have fun.
what's the Garu litany thing? Let not
Suffer
tell
not
your
others
weakness?
with thine illness.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just
That's why I
don't
compare them to werewolves. That's one of the reasons I compare these guys to werewolves.
don't bother me with your bullshit. It would be, of course, what you think this would be on the surface, but it
Miss
also
me
tends
with that
to
bullshit.
Kyle, if I may, like borrow a little bit from Jordan Peterson when I say this, but before he became a fucking grifter, I hate using that word, but you gotta call a spade a spade. He described that it was an analogy involving letting stuff burn down naturally, where you have a forest that, of course, needs to catch fire. You can't have this forest around forever. Eventually, a wildfire will happen and the forest will burn down, but new stuff will grow from it, of course. You've seen that before, where I know you've looked at a few ranger videos with me, that you'll have a portion of a forest that will burn down, and of course it's kind of sad at first because all the trees are now just blackened trunks where nothing's growing in them, and all the animals in that area lost their habitats, but you see new stuff growing on the forest floor after that happens, next to the burnt trunks. And of course it's part of the natural cycle of the forest is regrowing.
Yep.
But if you're not being a good steward, and you're not clearing out all the debris and the trash, and we had a storm blow through here, and all these limbs fell on the floor, and we had a tree fall over here, and it dried out and became perfect for burning, but we didn't do anything about it. The next time a forest fire comes into that forest, the flames get so fucking hot that it burns the soil itself, and then nothing grows. Nothing comes from that. And that's what they're saying with this example. If you see something that is dead or dying that is going to interfere with something new or something sustainable happening, get rid of it. You're obligated to get rid of it. It's not necessarily like a euthanasia thing, like, oh, grandma's dying, we gotta pull the plug and shit like that. No, that's not what they're saying at all. They're saying... What?
Oh, I just wanted to ask a question on this subject. Does this mean that they're natural enemies of the Fomori? Because the Fomori are like spirits of entropy and decay, and like they're kind of like outside?
Yes.
Yes, to make this very clear, the Bonamake or the Bonamake, I fucking forget whatever Japanese, Chinese bitch ass word it is.
Bakemono.
Bakemono. They are a big problem within Asia. Everyone hates them. They are a problem.
Where if they come in and they're destroying shit and making it unsustainable, they're littering, your river's now filled with toxic chemicals, your forest is burnt down, your mountain has been mowed down and mined, and now it's just a crater in the ground. Don't let that happen. We need stuff to stick around for people to enjoy. So if something is going to cause destruction, you are obliged to stop that destruction. There we go. Kyle, we got a new batch of images for you too. Check study notes.
All right. Let me see here.
That also goes for if you have a certain guy who has cardiac arrest and he's constantly different.
God. At first I was like, "Oh, this is kind of neat," and then I actually looked closer. God damn!
You had the Where's Waldo moment.
It's not even a Where's Waldo. It's just I realized what's going on.
Wait, Kyle, where did you? Kyle, how dare you just sit back and watch that?
Jesus
Christ!
Christ.
You've got a certain guy who had cardiac arrest, and he was in the way of getting your stimulus check, and he was next to another guy who's a massive warhawk, and then they both die within the same week, and how everyone's life is better after it happens.
Oh yeah, I did notice that. Two old fucks that were fucking everything up just died. See,
exactly.
my Thanatos philosophy is entirely correct. Some people just need to go.
And your Thrashing Dragon philosophy too.
Yeah, it's
there's some overlap here.
Like, sure, the book's kind of pointless, but at least, hey, they got a couple of good ideas.
Don't wait for term limits. Don't wait for them to be voted out. Just take matters into your own hands.
Oh yeah, natural selection.
Devour the old politicians, literally.
Right, look here. I don't like to say my politics, but everyone would universally agree with me this one here. Both the left and right needs to die. Not all of them. Some of them do. You fuckers have half a foot in the grave.
Total politician death. Every politician in the world should die.
They're fucking quoting Postal with that or some shit.
I as much as I try to be a neutral as possible. Some conservatives, some liberals, half you fuckers need to go.
No, destroy every politician.
It's not even a left or right issue at this point. It's a generation issue.
It's an age issue.
It's the generation that came before you that is in power does not have your interest at heart. That's also what it boils down to.
Yeah, that what truly pisses me off at the end of the day is you fuckers don't have much longer left and you refuse to move on.
You'd rather have a dead world than a world in which you do not rule.
Yes. You can't take your goddamn money with you in the grave.
Tell that to the Egyptians.
You don't see a U-Haul van behind a hearse.
It's okay. We're going to drink the blood of infants so we can live forever.
The fifth tenet: eschew Half-Life. Half-Life is an abominable state. Be alive as you can. Do not identify as a vampire. Do not call yourself a vampire. Do not say that you're a vampire. Just because you came back from hell and you're in a body that technically doesn't have a heartbeat anymore, no, do not let that change what you are. You're still human. Do not listen to a word the Devil Tigers say about transhumanism. Do not listen to anything the Crane have to say about you now having to take responsibility that you didn't have before in life. Don't listen to the Bone Flowers, who are now completely absorbed in death, and that's all they identify as now. And do not listen to a thing the Thousand Whispers say, because it might confuse you. You are still human. Cling to human identity, and let that be what defines you. You sure you have new powers. You have equilibrium. You have flesh Shintai. Okay, cool, you have that. But don't let that change who you are. Do not let your new Kuei-Jin power change who you are as a person fundamentally. You're still who you were before you died. You're just a new version of who you used to be.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this is it goes beyond just the utilitarianism of the Camarilla, of protecting the masquerade. It's not that they're concerned about that. Quite frankly, it seems the opposite, given how excessive they can be at times. But more so, some self-actualization in a way. You know, the idea that even though they were given a second chance and they may not be, normal mortal humans, the aim is to try and recreate that normalcy as close to humanly possible.
Where there is one movie I can think of in particular where, talk about this kind of gets you like misty-eyed when I bring it up, because I saw this in a time in my life where I needed to hear it. There is a movie that came out in 2010 called Colorful, where it's about a guy who dies and he has a conversation with a ghost saying, "Oh, you've been selected. You don't have to die just yet. We're going to send you back to your human body. I don't want to be." Say, "Oh, well, we're going to do it anyway. Okay, how it's not your body, it's someone else's body. Would you be okay with that?" He says, "Sure." And then the soul gets revived in a new body, and it's a new identity where the guy's like, "Oh, you're 14 years old. Your name is Makoto, and you have this family you're going back to." And one of the most powerful scenes in the movie is one of the first shots where it's a perspective where the guy's opening his eyes on his deathbed, and you see the mourning family, and then they all realize, "Oh wait, he's alive," and they immediately go back to surrounding him. And it's about this soul learning to not just assume this new identity, but to love who they are now they've been given a second chance. And that's what you want to do with the Thrashing Dragons. That your life before this, whatever may have come your way, sure, it might have been rough, but you saw hell and you knew that could be worse. Now compare that to the problems you had in life and realize just how minuscule that actually was. All that stuff in your life that was causing you pain, everything that was upsetting you beforehand, that's no longer an issue. It's not like the bone flowers where they said, if it's causing you problems in your life, get rid of it and destroy it. It is, if it is causing problems in your life, it no longer needs to because it no longer has power over you.
Yep, just ignore all your problems and move on.
And that was something I had to learn the hard way throughout my entire life as well. I don't want to make this about me. One of the hardest lessons I ever had to learn was learning that I wasn't as special as I thought I was, and how I just couldn't accept that. But upon realizing that, no, I can still have a good life without accepting all that responsibility was one of the best things that ever happened to me. That I don't need to be someone that everyone has eyes upon, that I can still find satisfaction in who I am. And
you gotta learn to love yourself, boy.
And trying to figure out how to accept myself as I was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And I see a few guys like I talk to in the server that have moments like that as well. But I gotta say, you know what? You're here with us right now. Don't worry too much about that because the problems you have are not going to follow you for your entire life. You're going to experience new things as time goes on. You might want to experience them now, but no. I hated being a kid. I hated being a teenager. But the moment I became an adult, my life got so much better. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I just realized, no, you just have to wait for that to come around your way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hell, that's basically where I was, because it was like, from around about 19 to 24, I was pretty goddamn miserable. Granted, you know, those were some pretty rough years between college and my folks, and
it didn't help that I was in that I was in life at that point too.
Well, I wouldn't blame you for that. A lot of the things that were going on that were going wrong were.
Well, it's because that was when I was at my worst, and you were seeing that on a daily basis.
Well, you already know I'm rather patient about these things, and I knew you were going through it.
You hate telling people goodbye. You like giving people second chances, and you really have to do something for you to cut ties with anyone.
Basically, yeah. You either have to pick up some incredibly worrying habits, and then have absolutely zero self-awareness about it, or just kind of fuck everything up. But
I said this to you not too long ago, but I'm going to say it again because it is true. The fact that you were seeing the worst version of me possible, and you still reached out to me, and you still want to be friends with me, and you want to do something like running games and running shows with me, that's something I'll always be grateful to you for.
Well, that's the thing. It's come, throughout all the people that I've known, both in real life and over the internet, is that, I can't be cognizant of everything that everybody's going through, but sometimes the best way to bring somebody back from a dark place is to just give them a hand.
Mm-hmm. Because
I saw you're going through it, and I thought, you know what? If he's got somebody to talk to, maybe he won't have to focus on all that.
Because I really did have to burn down in order to build myself back up.
And sometimes that's necessary, but you came through.
You do need to have some discretion, though, because you do need to recognize when you're bringing a viper into your house, because that's an important lesson to know. The story of the viper and the farmer, where our farmer sees a viper freezing in the cold and brings it into his house, warms it by the fire, and then the viper bites him. And the last thing the farmer thinks as he's dying is, "Oh, what an idiot I was to show compassion to a creature that only wanted to kill me."
Well, I don't think you wanted to kill me, so I think we were okay.
Yeah, but it's the reason why we know his name. We're not going to show, but that's the reason why we're never going to be friends again. That's the reason why some people have had to ban from the server will never be allowed back in again. And that's also
and we knew
part of the reason why there's some guys that we're not going to build a bridge with again, but we know why. It's because you weren't worth the trouble when we were friends, and you're not worth the trouble now.
Yeah, man, you can't save everybody. You could try, but you can't save everybody.
Yeah. The sixth tenet, sun veneration. Guide the sun up every morning, sleep when it is risen.
Solar time.
Yeah, just stand in front of the sun, let it cook you partially.
Put your head in the microwave and get yourself a tan.
Embrace your inner solar.
No, you had like a deep moment with the Thrashing Dragons. Now we get into this. This is just fucking stupid.
Like every Thrashing Dragon like example character at the bottom of a book has this this rite that is literally just this. Greet the sun every day, or there's something wrong with you.
That's what you gotta do. It's part of the experience, right? Just during the sunrise, I'm just going to stand and look directly into the sun and rot and burn and let the retina in my eyes burn out, and I'll just heal it the next day with my chi.
Yep.
It's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna cook for a little bit. Come back inside looking like a ghoul from Fallout, and then all of a sudden I'm magically better.
It's like,
but they are a little bit resistant to sunlight because of their yen affinity.
It's like the fucking like Tom and Jerry bit where something explodes and it turns them black. It's up like that. Without the red lips, of course.
Oh yeah.
Next up, laugh often. Laugh often and help others see the humorous in shadows. Don't be depressed. That's not the name of the game with these guys. If something has caused you pain, how about you stop focusing on the pain? You know how we've said before that an obsession with your own misery and victimhood will ruin your life.
Yeah, I've known a couple people like that.
And how many times? Well, there's a big one on the internet who goes by the name of Boogie2988. We know exactly that. Because everything that's a guy to look up in your own time, Greed.
He was Francis back in the day and you was complaining about video games. He was a fat guy, complained about video games.
And I was a subscriber. I really did like his content. And then he just let himself go because he just became obsessed with his own miserable life. Half of it was a fucking lie that he told to get sympathy. And his whole obsession with being sympathetic and being the victim is what caused him to just spiral out of control and ruin any sort of prospect he could have.
Didn't he gain back all the weight that he lost?
Yeah, he had the fucking triple bypass surgery, got all the weight fucking back, and now this guy can't get a job because you look this guy's name up and you get the guy who did a pump and up scheme saying he had cancer, and that's the reason why he did a pump and up crypto scheme. Exactly that. As it turns out, no, you never did have that from the get-go. You saw the results, misinterpreted them, said it was cancer when it turns out, no, it wasn't, and then you refused to back down and make say, oh, it was a mistake because you realized you could grift off of it. And now because of that, you are well and truly unemployable.
Good job, buddy.
It's all your own fucking fault it happened. So that's what we mean by this. If you are someone who's going to dabble in yin, if you get curious and you say, I want to see what the Shelllands look like, do not take the Shelllands back with you. The Shelllands is a miserable place filled with miserable people, and a lot of stuff in there that wants to kill you in the form of specters and Everborn. And the Tempest itself. Do not let the pain of other people carry into your life and tear you down. That's not to say that don't be empathetic at all. Understand people's pain and try to help them through it, but do not adopt the problems of other people and make it your own pain. Instead, find solutions for that pain. Instead of wallowing in your misery, try to find resolutions for the misery and help bring up people with you. That's what you want to do. Instead of letting some guy fall into his own depression or addiction or his own misery, how about you lend down a ladder and say, you don't have to live this way. And I didn't have to live this way either. Come up with me, there's something I want to show you. That's what you want to do.
So become Monkey D. Luffy, basically.
Yes. If you got issues where you're working at a job at Baratier and you don't want to keep you out of the kitchen and say you got to be a waiter, how about you join my crew? We're going to find the One Piece, Sanji. Come on. Come along with it.
No. I think I never made a more accurate assumption of the fucking Thrashing Dragons, Monkey D. Luffy. Holy shit.
Exactly that. You got to find the One Piece, Kyle.
No, the mentality of Monkey D. Luffy.
Because that poor bastard had no idea how to end that goddamn show.
It's still going on, by the way. We're finding all bosses as we speak.
Well, hold on now. Let me finish here. One Piece is finally going to end within this decade. Fucking finally. Two,
Yeah.
One Piece. The reason why I say it's like Monkey D. Luffy, it's the fact that Monkey D. Luffy is just a ball of sunshine who refuses to just settle down and be sad. He just wants to be happy and refuses to let the world say, be sad. He says no.
Because you look at his backstory with everything involving Sabo and Ace as his first backstory, and then the second one involving Shanks, he doesn't carry that pain with him. And you notice that every member of the crew, except for, I think, Zoro and Jinbei, Luffy has saved them from themselves in some sort of way.
Yeah, no, that is an ideal of Thrashing Dragon. Be the actual beacon that people look forward to.
I'm also so happy
Be the
about how
friend.
we showed him his first few episodes of One Piece while we were on vacation.
I still don't get
Be
it.
the friend that appears to you when you're sad with the stereotypical friend with the sun behind his back and you sitting in the fucking shadows and a handout offer to you and says, "Get your ass up. Let's eat some pizza."
I'm gonna hand a bro a Dr. Pepper, ice cold, out the fridge, and it's gonna change his goddamn life.
No, actually, this reminds me of this entire meme. It's basically some dude saying, "What is the point to living?" And it just shows the image of a paladin. This is from a short. I can post a video later. It shows the image of a paladin saying, "I like pizza, and I wish to eat more of it."
And you know what? He's absolutely right. Because, you got to enjoy the little things when it comes to it. Like, for example, and early, there's an Orthodox church down the street from me. And every so often, a Greek truck shows up, a food truck shows up there in their parking lot. And they have some of the most delicious gyros that have ever graced my palate. And that is one of the little pleasures in life that I get, is that fucking food truck to keep showing up at that Orthodox church, and me and my roommate get to go over there and get a delicious gyro that only shows up like 4 times a year. And I will keep going for that gyro stand.
Can you guys hear this?
The point of living. I like pizza.
Yes.
Exactly that.
And you know what? He's 100% right. You got to enjoy the little things.
And that's why the reason I like the Thrashing Dragons, even though they don't have a lot to them. Their philosophy, it has flaws, but that's the fundamental aspect of their philosophy. Just enjoy life.
You know, I can kind of get behind that.
Be as alive as you can be. Feel every vibration of existence within your body and your soul.
See visible matter, feel invisible matter. The 8th tenet and the last one, protect spirits. Protect the spirits. Without them, the life dance stops. So these guys realize that if the Weaver wins and completes the gauntlet, that the entire world's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they know that is kind of scary.
Because after all, the gauntlet, as Greed has described before, you need the Umbra. Even though there's a lot of evil shit within the Umbra, it needs to exist, because without it, Gaia ceases to exist. Because after all, part of the fundamental metaphysics of the world of darkness is that Gaia is a spirit that created her own realm, the Earth, and that if Gaia dies and stays dead, then everything ceases to exist. Where you can still have the realm exist, but it's going to be a dying world where everything slowly disappears, and that's what the worm wants. But if you also get Weaver Ascending, where the Gauntlet rating becomes 10 globally, that shuts out the spirit, and you separate Gaia from her own realm, causing the eventual complete and utter death and stasis of the world. Neither of those are things that you want. And that extends for spirit management, because a Thrashing Dragon will hunt a Bane. They know that Banes exist. They know that, yes, the Yama Kings essentially do have them dead to rights, but they don't have to accept it. They know that the Yama Kings are invincible villains in the World of Darkness. They're still going to fight against them. And they're going to do it by fighting their minions. If there is a Bane or Fomori around, a Thrashing Dragon knows about them and will hunt them and kill them. And that's part of the game. Now, I might be thinking, why do these guys stand against the Gur Nation? Well, it's because we'll get to that in a minute. But essentially, the paradigms of the Kuei-Jin and Garo Nation are completely opposed. And that extends for the Hinkai Yokai as well. Because still remember, the Thrashing Dragons still work for a faction that wants world domination.
Well,
You're still part of that.
They still want to take over the world. Everybody does.
And
unless you think the wrong way, unless you're from one of the heretical dharmas, then they just kill you. It's like,
and lastly, that it's not just Banes they hunt as well, but a pattern spider. Where if they find a pattern spider that's boosting up the Umbra a little bit too much, they'll just go and stamp out the spider. And then that summons the net spider, and then behold, you have a boss fight. Kyle, of course, you know what the Cyber Demon looks like from Doom. That's what the net spiders.
Yeah, they're kind of fucking scary looking.
If you feel like having a boss fight with the Thrashing Dragons, go ahead and have one.
Yep, you can probably win. Probably.
That's your tenant section. Kyle, I'll put this up on the screen as we go into relationships.
Yes. Okay. Why does that go hard though? What the hell?
I told 3HB, this is your 2003 CD cover of your alternative rock band.
Damn, I kind of want to use that as.
I was right. Why the hell does this go hard? Why does this go hard though?
So put a parental advisory sticker in the bottom left there.
Dear God.
No, that's not the comic band. You're a singer-songwriter.
The hell? No, I can cut my hand on that jawline. The fuck?
I know. It's my jaw certainly is not that sharp, but I look good in that fucking pic.
Go ahead, make that your PFP. Go ahead.
I might actually. That's really fucking good. Oh my God. All right. Yes. So relationships. Starting us off, we have the Devil Tigers. So the Thrashing Dragons themselves are, spiritual monsters, and the Devil Tigers, by comparison, believe themselves to be ethical monsters. Their job is to roam the world and punish the wicked and the unrighteous. The end of the world is near, and they're going to fight the demons as best as they humanly can. Well, inhumanly or unhumanly. I don't know. But
it's both.
Yeah, in a way. However, they do find that they are rather arrogant and simple-minded creatures, looking more for immediate power rather than any sort of long-term scheme for enlightenment. They're very much, they take everything at face value and, do exactly what's in front of your nose. They'll try to mess with you if you're a Thrashing Dragon because they think you're just kind of self-indulgent and have no principles. But, well, on a rare occasion, you can coerce them to find a different way, but it's unlikely at best.
Where that's the thing with them is that they're not right, but they're not wrong either.
Yeah. The wicked need to be punished, but, can you calm down, bro?
You took this wicked woman's children, you boiled them into a stew, and then you fed them to the mother.
Yeah.
That is some hardcore shit.
The Thrashing Dragons say, we've eaten a few people too, but we don't go that extravagant with it.
Yeah, but seemed like the thing to do.
The Thrashing Dragon did it the one time and realized, I think I've seen enough of that. I want to do that again.
Yep. And basically, that's their relationship. The Resplendent Cranes, much like the Devil Tigers, the Resplendent Cranes have worked out their own sort of ethical system and, punished the wicked in themselves. Both dharmas, the Tigers and the Cranes, predate Confucius, but they are similar in morality with their teachings. To someone who's not a member of either, the difference between the Cranes and the Devil Tigers are a bit more rambunctious, but the Cranes are much better organized. They're also, if they do find you guilty of something, they're going to have evidence to back it up, and they want to make sure that you have your morals in check and, make sure that you honor the Eight Lotus Path And they want to make sure that, everybody eventually aligns in harmony when it comes to their morality. Let me see if there's anything else. And yeah, so cranes, like we said, very bureaucratic, are going to, slowly work their way up their temple hierarchy in order to get them to a point in which they believe they're finding their own enlightenment. They're basically just how they think of them is they're the devil tigers, but better organized is basically all they think of the cranes.
Now I expect you to be on your best behavior, and you need to be in bed before 5, and you need to get up for school at 6. And
you need to eat your veggies.
It's like,
it's just party.
It's just working with the sprint cranes is like working with your mom.
That makes sense.
The experience. It's sure, I know you want what's best for me, but you know what? I'm my own man, and I want to do my own thing.
Yeah, it's like that one villain from Teen Titans, Mother May I, where she takes away their toys or takes away their gadgets because they'll hurt somebody, and then tries to kill them and eat them. It's kind of fucked up.
This whole devouring mother aspect to them.
Yes. Yeah, I looking back on that, hearing that phrase, that I think that is exactly what was going on in that episode of Teen Titans.
Well, given that she tried to make him into a pie, yeah.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Starfire that could resist her because she wasn't human?
Yeah, that's how it worked.
Yeah, I think that was the whole thing about that. Anyhow, the Thousand Whispers, they find them very novel, but not entirely dissimilar to themselves. But, while they see several different patterns in the way life works, the Whisperers are sort of just lives and point of view. They go symbolic deaths and rebirths. They put on new identities, and it's
weird.
Yeah, weird to them. It's they say that the way of the vampires is easier than the Thrashing Dragons, but it is also incredibly difficult. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to them, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Where, when it comes to the fucking Thousand Whispers, that, as I said before, is just an alien fucking faction where it's change for the sake of change.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the Thrashing Dragons want to experience everything, they want at least a baseline for what their experiences are. You never get that with the Thousand Whisper,
no.
By their own laws and by their own.
They're almost a different beast entirely.
Stuff must always be new, and they say to the Thousand Whisper, well, if you want to do it a second time, and then the Thousand Whisper is already gone. They're not even listening to a thing you say.
No, they're thinking they're basically like Kuei-Jin hipsters, I guess. It's not new, therefore, and now that the dragons know about it, it's mainstream. Anyhow, the Song of the Shadow. The shadows are the dragon's dharmic antithesis. It's kind of difficult for the narrator of the book to, adequately speak about what they're actually supposed to be getting at. They have a very cold detachment from existence with their whole, philosophy of the black metal egg. They avoid the Thrashing Dragons mostly altogether. As the book recounts, they see us as the embodiments of the so-called sweaty, excited man. They're basically, they are, while the dragons are very, yang-based, the songs are very yin-based. They're incredibly skilled at, the crafting of bone and metal, and, their focus on necromancy makes them, just very interesting to observe, but, most dragons would tend to avoid them specifically for that reason. It's, a bit easier to, be content with the idea of yang than it is to try and debate, the tenets of a more yin-based dharma. It just doesn't, they're complete opposites with each other.
They have a lot in common, but like I said before, parallel lines. You are doing the same thing, but in two very different directions.
Precisely. So that's why it's kind of hard for the two of them to really get along, see eye to eye, or even work with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the heretics. So, starting from there, we have the Flame of the Rising Phoenix. It's, a very limited version of the Dragon's Own faith, trying to live again, but correctly, or finishing or reliving mortal lives. But, and they even have a word for, what the flame of what the Rising Phoenix believes. It's called the Chi Mei state. They're sort of confused. They can't really make sense of what they are. And while they are emulating some of the tenets of the Thrashing Dragons of living correctly, their way of life of trying to undo the errors of their same past is only going to get them bogged down in the same pitfalls.
Like I said before, kill the past.
Exactly.
That's what separates these guys between being heretics and being accepted. Is
True.
that the Rising Phoenix can't let go of who they are, but meanwhile the Thrashing Dragons, you're still you, but a new you. You're born again.
However, unlike the other dharmas, the Thrashing Dragons actually seek to try to help the Flame of the Rising Phoenix, to try and teach them that they're not too far off, but they need some correction. They're not going to just beat the hell out of them for the sake of being heretics. They're actually like, you're close, but you're focusing too much on the past, and this is not where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
As it says, do not mock them, rather take them under your wing and show them the true scope of nature's lessons. That's what they're doing. And then you have the...
You had a thought, Mandrake?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it's just about the kill the past line that just made me think, for some reason, of fucking Hisoka of all people. And I just thought, would he be a Thrashing Dragon? Just kind of
Well, he would. Given all the fucking weird shit Hisoka's into.
Yeah.
It just... you just have to be eye level with this man's crotch. Run as fast as you can.
Then the face of the gods. Again, heretical faith practiced mainly in India that the dragons recall. They believe there's some sort of exalted divinity because of their second breath. They demand the worship of mortals to harness their Pa'o and Hun souls. They're dangerous beings, and their teachings are pernicious. They basically just try to, swindle people away from their souls, and commonly in league with the Yama Kings in one way or another in order to deal power for themselves. They're evil, just do what you can to get rid of them.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
I would like to add one
These
thing.
are your marauders. They're just going insane. Kill them.
I would like to add one thing, is that the book even says, oh yeah, these guys, why are they a problem in relation to the Yama Kings? Because they think they're on the level of the Yama Kings, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a god, you Yama King, you are a god, so let's be neighbors. Let's just act together. And the Thrashing Dragons are like, the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you stupid assholes doing?
You are actively collaborating with the guy that wants you to boil in hell forever.
Yeah, they're not very smart, are they?
The fucking hubris. You came from hell and you got a few powers out of it, and you think you can deal with the lords of hell. You're fucking hubris of these fuckers.
Straight right back into hell is where that's going to get you.
Yep, straight to hell. There is also a number of different internal schisms, which we discussed very briefly earlier in the episode. Mostly dependent on the cardinal directions. It's got sort of a feng shui theme going on with these. I didn't read too deep into it because I was kind of like, what the hell is the point? But we're going to go over it as best we can. From I believe this is the north, if I'm not mistaken, the laughing rainbows. It remains
the fucking sex. Yeah, the groups itself. Okay, we can. Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Well, so let me. When it comes to this camp, this is basically the most vanilla Thrashing Dragon you can get.
Yes.
Just to summarize it. It's all is well, love life, let all hang out, yada yada. You can get what. So what are you saying about these guys?
Oh, I was just saying that it was going to be the most practiced of the faith, at least amongst the more civilized of the Thrashing Dragons. It was actually founded by their, central figure, the Thousand Crane Mother, who they believe still walks the Middle Kingdom to this very night. They take their name from one of her main parables, which is that the one Kuei is like the rainbow. It shows its face and all the nature of laughs. It emphasizes this exuberant quality. They attempt to experience existence to their fullest without apology. As we just said, sex, drugs, rock and roll, and hell of violence. Kind of like punk rock in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
What you were saying?
They still advocate for a certain amount of temperance. They do say that reach out with your right hand to the fire of life, reach out with your left hand to the ice of death. So they'll still enjoy life and on all its aspects, but this sect seems to preach the most moderate approach to this. The other ones are way more radical. The other sects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you took the words out of my mouth with that one.
Yep, that about covers it. Then you have the Thousand-Faced Thunders. This was founded early in the existence of the Dharma, not very long after the Thousand Crane Mother gave the speech about the scattering of seeds, and described the tenets of the Dharma in a sort of abstract fashion that led them to the founding of this particular subsect of the Dharma. The Moon-Eyed Tiger thought that spirits were emblematic of creation, and that to exist near spirits was to exist in close proximity to life itself. They are more so the sorcerers, warlocks sort of sect of the Thrashing Dragons. These guys would probably have more in common with the songs than anybody else. But for the most part, what's up?
Especially the complexity.
Yes. Though typically they tend to act more like ambassadors and mentors to the younger elementals when they first came into being. Now they act sort of just powerful spirit lords, as one of their, as the eighth tenet said, tend to spirits. That's precisely what this faction is here to do.
Now there's what?
I would just say, from what I remember from the book, these are a bit like Glasswalker Thrashing Dragons, because they went from the rural spaces to the urban spaces, and they just consort a lot with weaverish electricity, glass, metal spirits.
Yes.
And what you know about the antenna with the Bane Tenders, the Thrashing Dragons are doing the same. Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all.
If there's an exceptionally powerful spirit, or if a spirit is about to go extinct, catch it. Don't let it go extinct.
Also, I just realized that these subsects and the directions are two separate things.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I going through Greed's shit?
Yeah.
No.
I heard it briefly. I don't know if it's still doing that.
I'll stop now. But this is what I mean. Well, imagine this. So this group of Thrashing Dragons, imagine them encountering Griffin.
Oh.
For a moment, I thought you meant the Berserk character. Sorry.
No, I feel like that would go horrendously. I'm going to be perfectly frank.
Just as bad. No, the Red Talon's patron.
Yeah, I know. It'd go horrendously.
See, look over there. That's an animal that doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to catch it.
Yep. Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon.
Well, if you're looking for inspiration for an all Red Talon game, I just gave it to you.
Yep, there you go. Easy peasy. Yep. And then you have the Passion Blood Flowers.
What the fuck were you thinking about with this name?
I don't know. I think that's pretty sick myself, but
the absolute mad lads.
Greed, fold your computer back a little bit more, Rackway.
Yep. Okay.
This has a single deckhead founder, one Piao Peiyong, who founded this group after he got in a fight with a bunch of fucking Akuma 1,000 years ago. And now he's here.
So it was actually during that great battle that she had found enlightenment. But it was a different sort of enlightenment, and not all of her ideas were, fully necessary to achieve enlightenment. But, her followers sort of patent their existences after hers, trying to emulate her own strategy in order to making themselves enlightened.
A key facet of them being the female essence, very much like a Black Fury in a way.
Yes.
They believe that there is a certain quality that can only be experienced by a woman and can only be found within another woman. And they value that.
Precisely.
There is true. What?
But they seem to believe it, like, even if you're a male, just fuck it, become a woman.
Well, there it is. Don't mind if we do use flesh chin tied to rip the penis right off of you and throw it on the ground. Don't mind if we do.
No, these guys do one thing that I find funny as shit for some reason. Mind if I tell you what it is?
Go right ahead.
Do it.
So the Kuei-Jin have something similar to the Sabbat Vauldery. They just call it something else. And these guys, apparently, you have the elders of this sect, of the Passion Bloodflower sect. They just have, because of Vauldery-like rituals, they just have harems of younger Kuei-Jin. Not even humans, not even damn peers. They just have harems of other vampires, blood bonded to them with this fucking ritual. I find that funny as shit for some reason.
If I may show what these guys do, we can't put this on the screen, but I'm just showing you guys this.
It's funny as shit. I wish I could put that up on the screen, but I can't.
That's a little too risque.
that is SpongeBob ripping off his nose, but they put the nose in where a hole in his underwear is to give you all some context. And the caption is, when a male athlete can't win any competitions.
They're not wrong, but guess what? The fucking Olympics banned that shit now.
Yes.
Heyo.
You know what it was? It was probably a Muslim country that complained about it.
The Olympics is just a big fucking global scam at the end of the day.
I don't know about that. I think it's kind of neat watching especially the Winter Olympics. I think that's kind of cool.
I fucking hate the Olympics now, but I'm not going to mystify it for you.
I just think it's neat. Anyway, but yeah, so Black Furies, but in Thrashing Dragons, is really all we're saying here.
With more focus on the orgasm with these guys.
So a little bit of Urbana in there too, sure.
Yes. After all, making a woman orgasm is very difficult.
That's from what I've been told. Anyhow.
Awkward moment of silence.
Yeah, that was just something I was not expecting at that time. So.
Kyle, no.
What?
You can't be admitting that. And also, how would you know, Johnny? How would you know? You're gay.
He's got a point.
They piss on you first, and then it happens. So.
We're moving on. Fuck it. I'm not carrying this anymore. Okay.
I agree with Kyle.
10 seasons.
I think we killed King.
10 season sex.
Yes. So they are devoted to the veneration of nature's wonder as a complex.
You fucking hippie.
Yes, they are basically hippies. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's named after their founder, which might throw up a red flag here, Old Man Spider, who had once said that Discipline, who had his wits about him, could become a corpse saint after just 10 seasons of observing a garden. Many have tried, but nobody yet has been successful. That's not to say it hasn't produced, or the sect hasn't produced Bodhisattvas, yes.
Bodhisattva.
What?
But Bodhisattva is how you say
Bodhisattva, okay. But yeah, so several people have taken the time in order to follow this sort of sub-dharma, I guess. And of them, you have Peony Blossom Princess, who took the second breath in the days of the Qin Dynasty, who had ascended. Shortly after Moon-Eyed Tiger did as well. And not long before the discovery of the corruption of the Jade Ancestor, Chang'an, Laughing Falcon also became Bodhisattva as well. And, they still remain. They haven't really reached sainthood in 10 seasons, but they did indeed confirm it to be possible. It is nearly easier to see the road of enlightenment from the perspective of this than it is from that of a student.
And they speak for the trees.
They do
Computer
indeed
died, now he's on his phone.
Now, I will say this here, after my brief moments of silence. This makes me think, well, this is inspired by a homebrew fan-made 20th version of this game, but they did mention an idea that I think actually is rather cool. A thrashing dragon that turns itself into an animal and lives in nature.
With flesh hentai, yes.
That is kind of neat.
Yeah, these guys, this last sec, I think they're also the ones that like cultivate families. They just like to mess with like people's genealogy a lot and just cultivate families like it's gardens.
My idea is slightly different. They're similar to the gangrel because they reject living in cities, but they're still very philosopher. Damn, they're still philosophers in the sense that they try to seek enlightenment. How do I put this here? The mythical animal, the wise fox that knows all the tricks of the woods. That's what I'm envisioning.
Kitsune, yeah, that kind of shit. Yep. Imagine a more fox-inspired gangrel instead of a wolf one.
A creature that chooses to learn from nature instead of lives in nature, like a gangrel, because gangrels ultimately want to live in nature.
Well, there you go. So just a more interesting version of the gangrel.
In a way,
yes. Damn.
And
did you want to go over the whole feng shui directions?
Yeah, I got that covered for you.
Okay.
So when it comes to these guys, they have, of course, the directions that kind of it's your flavoring as for how do you want to run dragon. If you're a Thrashing Dragon from the north, you are the one and only Thrashing Dragon that has ever taken responsibility in his life. You decide that you want to become the Scaled Magistrate. You say that we gotta teach people enlightenment. Instead of it, you figured it on your own. How about I tell you how I figured it out and where I am on my journey and help build you back up. And then by bouncing ideas off of you, we can rise to enlightenment together. And also to make sure that you're not going crazy, that you're not becoming a Kuma, that you're not becoming degenerate, that you're not going to do something stupid, that you're not going to walk off into the sun one day and then just rot and forget to come back in after you do the ritual. These guys actually want to be responsible, be active in this conquest of the Kuei-Jin, and not just fuck around all day, every day like every sex seems to want to do. From the south, you've got the hungry red dragons. So you remember the devil tigers and their temperament? We'll just combine that with the thrashing dragon, and you get the most prickly people in this entire group.
So they're just devil tigers, but a little bit worse.
They want to say, how can I maximize my orgasm? How can I maximize my high in the worst way possible?
I am just life maxing right now.
You looks maxed. You just covered yourself in gold to preserve your good looks.
I look awesome, and now I'm dying of stomach cancer.
Ed's posted a meme earlier saying that the looks maxers are looking into alchemical rituals that would make the Tang Dynasty blush.
I remember seeing that. It was actually really funny.
Yeah, I think the southern dragons are also the ones that are always fighting.
Yes, there is no moment of chill. You know how there's some people out there where work is play when it comes to them?
I'm like that.
It's not necessarily work, but it's more like just playing rough, and you never stop playing rough.
I don't have the time nor energy for that.
You're going to do the most extreme shit possible, and you're never going to stop doing it.
Yeah, totally extreme, dude. Yeah.
Instead of doing a sensible thing of wrestling with the script with WWE, you're going to go to AEW. We're smashing cinder blocks over each other's heads and setting each other on fire. That's the kind of shit you're doing.
You're going to do
the
some
fire
New Jack
is normal.
shit.
The cinder blocks is not.
You gotta love the stupidity of everything that went on in Forbidden Door and Double or Nothing this year. Kind of it's on my mind because AEW's pissed me off. That's why it's on my mind.
Well, I mean, didn't you send me like a book for it or something?
Or just AEW?
Yeah.
No. Well, no. I mean, like, they're doing stupid shit in the promotion.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it later. The East-facing group, known as the Magistrate Subserving Dragons, perform such roles that the North Dragons would do, but with more leniency and in the mortal role, mortal world. They want to get directly involved in human society. With them being the East-facing group, they want to observe human behavior. They want to go and say, what are you going to do if I just become your best friend? Or what are you going to do if I blackmail you for all of your money? They get directly involved in human society because they want to experiment and see every facet of the human experience.
It's like the worst sociological experiment ever.
Is that so? You get some guys who are basically high-functioning sociopaths.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You basically become, well, not Patrick Bateman. He's the American Psycho, but I don't know, just serial explorer.
Tyler Durden.
Yeah, that's about right.
This guy
These are the guys that will say, "What if I had an arch enemy? What if I was a doting father? What if I was an absentee father?"
It's there's a Jim Carrey movie called Yes Man. That would be what they do. It's, do I want to do something? I will never say no to it, so the answer will be yes. Do I want to take this brick and throw it through the window of this maximum security bank? Yes, I do, as you proceed to throw the brick through, shatter the glass, and run for your life as security comes after you. That's kind of shit.
Yep.
Next up, the Western-facing group is known as the Bone-Eating Dragons. Yes, that is a euphemism.
It is a euphemism?
Who look at what everything going on in the Yin world and say the bone flowers aren't doing enough to study the state of death. Instead, I want to become a scholar who observes what it's like to die. So, you know how Suda51, the guy that made No More Heroes, was an Undertaker before he became a game designer?
Really?
Yes. And by doing so, he got to see a lot of different people's reactions towards death. And you saw that especially in Killer 7 and No More Hero, is where you see like stuff that he saw while working as an Undertaker, he wrote into both those games. And that is what these groups of Thrashing Dragons do. You're there to see the end of something in the moral world. You're there to see the bitter end, the conclusion to the story, the guy's dead on his deathbed, the family business finally closed, the building finally burnt down, and you're there to find out what happened in the last episode. And then you find out what happened that led up to that point, and then you study and observe that with this group. So basically, you're doing what I'm doing with Ethan Ralph.
Yeah, I feel like that's about as apt a description as we can get for that.
Am I one of these guys?
Yes.
I've been considering that.
Short answer.
I've been considering that this whole video.
And lastly, you have the center group called the Teachers of Dancing. Students of life, they seek to ascertain what questions the world asks of its inhabitants. You are the guy who's going to do everything. You're going to try everything, even if you fail. Very much like the McCoy. So, whatever you feel like doing, it's, do you want to try skydiving? Sure. And then you do the skydiving without a parachute. You crash to the ground. You pick yourself up after you fix yourself for your chi. And then you tell somebody what it was like to skydive without a parachute. And then you try it again with a parachute this time.
Yep. And then you realize, oh, wow, that was actually kind of cool because I didn't, break it into a million pieces when I slammed into the ground at terminal velocity.
These guys will also have small cults of personality dedicated to them involving other Kuei-Jin, and even outside their own dharma, where they'll go up to them and say, hey, it's that guy who's the Sinner Dragon. What did you do today? Well, what I did is that I went over into a volcano and I fought a demon god inside of the volcano. You want to hear a story? Oh, yes, we do. And then you sit down and listen to what he has to say.
Speaking of fighting, I do have like this concept of the Thrashing Dragon character for one of my games. He just goes around and fights city fathers. He just goes around Japan and fights city fathers. Why not?
Just go ahead and fuck it. You want to fight the entirety of Chicago in one person? Well, go ahead and do it. It takes the form of Elwood Blues for the Blues Brothers.
Honestly, that'd be fucking awesome.
You just got this fight, and you just got Soul Man blasting at 200% volume in the background.
Yep. I think that'd be awesome. We're on a mission from God.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yep.
And then we go into other relationships page where we just had to, I don't know, randomly interrupt the relationship section before we got into the other splats. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was formatted really weird when we got here.
Get a little experimental with the formatting, aren't we?
I suppose so. But starting up again in relationships, we have wraiths, the spirit. Well, not really wraiths, but the spirit world. They manifest the essence, or they are the manifest essence of the Maya. And they owe them a whole lot of respect and reverence as the incarnations of the creations they try to learn from. They teach a whole lot, as shown by werewolves, and the rituals and games of dominance explicitly demonstrate the cycles and rhythms of the natural world. There is no better guide to the world itself than to talk to the spirits. They are the observable summaries of the things they represent, and to study them closely is to have access to that fountain of knowledge about creation. Thus, becoming able to move amongst them and gain their favor, which is incredibly important to a Thrashing Dragon who wants to understand the purpose of the world. It's, to earn the favor of spirits, of course, you have to do something that pleases them, usually some sort of elaborate quest into the Yang world, or get something of incredible importance to them. And that's basically how you're going to go about getting your power, is talking to spirits and doing shit for them. Ready to do some goddamn side questing? Well, buddy, get your favorite mirror out and hop on over to the spirit world.
I believe Greed has something to say.
No, just thinking about this here. This entire time, this entire conversation has made me think about two different character archetypes for the Thrashing Dragons. I would actually want to roleplay. One only fits for a long-term game. The other fits for any other kind. But the first one I really like is basically a Thrashing Dragon who rejects any form of wealth. Sorry, I had a burp. Or any form of high status. It just lives on the road, living life. Just smoking a blunt, drinking alcohol, just sitting down and just living life and admiring the small things that make up life.
Bro's just trying to be just the Big Lebowski, but in Asia.
It's trying to be Julius at the end of Pulp Fiction.
Yes, basically vibing with the world.
Yeah. If we're talking character concepts, I also have one for Thrashing Dragons. Mine is that someone that used to be a Devil Tiger that had his buddy Devil Tiger die in a very yin-related way, like something like an excess of yin-chi in some capacity. So he just became a Thrashing Dragon to just drown his sorrows in indulgence, and he's like afraid of drawing in yin-chi, so he's often yan imbalanced. That's my idea.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Joy of alcoholism.
Yay!
You got an idea, Kyle?
I did. I know because the fact that the Thrashing Dragons are the one dharma that doesn't immediately try to beat the shit out of the friggin' out of the Rising Phoenix. I keep trying to think about what I want to do for Taiga. And, the whole idea about Taiga was that, he's a well-respected, teacher of, I believe, karate, because he was of Japanese persuasion. And that, his daughter Naomi was kidnapped and he was killed by somebody, comes back, and then starts as a Rising Phoenix in order to try and, save his daughter and undo the mistakes of his past. And then maybe, after seeing that the venture may become hopeless, becomes a Thrashing Dragon, sort of wandering about and trying to relearn how to move on.
And that's kind of shit you get with these guys where, just going in and just seeing the end of life as per usual with the yin spirits, these souls that you speak to after death. It's all part of the human experience because, well, maybe you don't have time to experience everything. You can hear from someone else's secondhand experience whether or not doing something is a good or good enough. Well,
pretty much.
Henge Yokai.
Yes. So, or as they call them, the Qiong-Ren, or ferocious people, are powerful magicians and shapeshifters who protect the will of creation, or so they see it as. They personify the world as being what they call the Green Mother and guard her against what they see as the influence of wicked spirits. However, the problem comes is that they see the dragons as a perfect example of the infest creation. While the elders and cool heads make the war between the Xiongren and the Kuei-Jin rare, there is an undercurrent of tension pot-marked by violent incidents between the neonates of the Thrashing Dragons as well as the... Or actually, what was the Kuei-Jin name for neonates? I forget.
Shimei?
Yeah, Shimei. The Shimei and the younger of the Henge yokai. It's pretty much impossible to make friends with them. They don't want anything to do with you, but honestly, the Thrashing Dragons kind of get it. You're a vampire standing around, and anyone standing around you for too long is probably going to be eaten. And, the Henge yokai just don't want anything to do with you. So just, they're probably not going to ignore you, but just, don't give them a reason to want to try to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
However, the Koraks will probably talk to you.
And you might be thinking, well, why don't these guys necessarily work with each other, Kyle? Can you think of that?
Why don't they work with each other? It's probably because the Thrashing Dragons don't want to do anything.
It's because the Garo Nation kills people. The Henge yokai kill people.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's that you are a force of destruction that the Thrashing Dragons recognize. You think of killing every time you run into somebody, and you run the risk of causing a world where nothing exists because you think that stuff like modern-day technology is evil. Which is why they were perfectly okay with the co-signing of the eradication of the Stargazers. They're entirely okay with there only being 500 Stargazers left. They've done everything they really want to do with the Garo Nation, and they no longer care if all these changing breeds die because you no longer have a murder machine that will chase after them and kill them just for being of the worm, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
Pretty much, yeah. Yes, anything else?
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Gotcha. The Shinta, the lightning people, they're miracle workers to the Thrashing Dragons. They have figured out secrets that it took them just a journey through Yomi to discover. They hold the keys to heaven. It's somehow both frail and mighty as all other mortal power. They are magicians, not true Shen. They have a very poorly developed sense of obligation and honestly terrible manners. But you can learn just an incredible amount from their lives and times. However, the short lifespans also mean that they are not terribly adverse to abusing their might as much as they feel like. Some seek to bind you to their will. Some will, some will constrain you for a time. Others will try to enslave you forever. Whatever terrible consequence that may come from it, try to learn from your experience whatever you have with the lightning people, just because they are just incredibly powerful.
Well, I still love that they fucking call mages the lightning people.
I think that is cool as shit.
But
it's because they have the Albert Einstein hair, all of them. They just look like they've been struck by lightning.
Yeah.
But you know the whole thing. Like every single Kuei-Jin is saying, if you come across a mage, just let that handsome devil go about it. Just don't get involved.
Basically, it's like observe from a distance to see what you can learn, but don't get directly involved.
Do not directly come into contact with the mage, you will die.
Basically, yeah. I don't know. To me, the lightning people sounds like a fucking knockoff, mid 80s Deep Purple band.
Let's see here. When it comes to it, they start going over fucking everything.
Yeah.
Insane we can go over.
I mean, they have the
fucking
the Histian
changelings. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Asian changelings.
Around the time of the fall of Meru, the Xian fought over whether they should become involved in the world following the Wan Xian's fall from grace, and that led to some fratricide, and the august personage of Jade was offended, and they were cast out into the world and set to move from body to body. As a society, they kind of blame the Kuei-Jin entirely for the misfortune. Today, they're still on Earth. Some are shapeshifters, other are noble elementals, all practitioners of alchemy, at least in the elemental sense. And if they would let you, you could learn an incredible amount from them as well. But because of that resentment that they harbor and the blame that they have, that they hold the Kuei-Jin for being, cast out from Meru after its fall, they're most certainly not going to let you anywhere near them. They are still, their chi is still divine in nature. It's the same golden elixir that the One Xian once reprised, and thus is extremely addictive to the Kuei-Jin. It's very powerful and creates this amazing sensation of being alive again. It's just incredible stuff that the Hsien have. You may try to fight with them or make alliances or live in uneasy peace. They're all possible depending on conditions and personality.
And so, imagine this. Imagine the power couple between a Thrashing Dragon and a Puka.
Why a Puka of all things?
Because all the fucking they do, that's why.
Well, yeah, and then you get addicted to their blood and accidentally kill them.
Also, the Puka finds all the different pranks to play on you, and a Thrashing Dragon would accept it because it's part of the human experience.
Yep. It's like,
yes.
This is supposed to be humorous. I see.
You created stay up socks, and you filled my socks with glue, and now my feet are glued inside these socks. How humorous!
Not humorous.
Funny little rabbit.
Yes.
Yes.
Silly
Another
rabbit.
thing with the Thrashing Dragons is that I am like 95% sure that like in Kuei-Jin cosmology, the dreaming is part of the Yang world.
It is.
So if I'm not incorrect, they can just look into the dreaming. They can do the Garou trick of like, oh, I'm just gonna peer into the Umbra without fully crossing sideways. So yeah, this fucker Kuei-Jin can just look into the dreaming as well.
And you go a little bit crazy after seeing some of the stuff in there. Little too excitable sometimes. Next up is the yeah duh ones. The she, let Kyle go over to she.
Yes.
Do not encounter a fucking hunter.
Yeah,
Don't
basically.
Do not fuck with this. If you know
run
a
into
guy
one,
is hunting,
run.
If a guy is hunting Kuei-Jin, you don't need to experience that because you know where that experience is going to take you. It's going to kill you. Don't do it.
Yep.
Same with the yellows. What?
And I will say this here. Sorry about my shit. My phone, the internet, the power died in my house, so I have to use my phone. There are two kinds of hunters.
The humans and the imbued.
The robo ninjas, the cyborg ninjas, and then there are actual wushu martial artists that will beat your ass.
Yeah, Kimetsu no Yaiba looking motherfuckers.
Demon Hunter X is fucking crazy.
It is.
It is very fun. I quite like that book.
I have that book.
I love the book.
The other duh answer is the Yellow Springs. The realm of the Jade Emperor himself. Do not go there.
Yeah, no, you're
Don't
gonna
go there.
fucking die.
Do not go there.
I thought he was called the Yellow Emperor.
Yes.
It's just his place of being, the Yellow Springs. Yeah, avoid it if you can. There are things you can learn there, but they are very, very unpleasant lessons.
Next up is the sun. Of course, we know that the sun is the reason why we have life. It's the term heat death is there, for example. The sun is constantly giving off energy that everything needs to live, and that includes you. Because if there was no sun, you would have no chi to derive anything from. So appreciate the sun is there, just don't stand in it for too long.
Yep, because then you'll burn up and die.
I do not know why the Dampier keep getting brought up in these fucking books.
It's because they can actually have children, is why the Dampier keep coming up.
Yeah,
and to be fair, the Thrashing Dragons are the reasons why most of them exist. So I don't really have much of a complaint about in this book.
all of the childbearing.
Yes. Your fetish of a pregnant vampire can now finally be completed. Was it? Also, the Yama Kings, the reason why you're in this shithole to begin with.
Yes.
The masters of dark forces beyond your wildest beliefs, the guys that want nothing but absolute destruction and domination brought your way. They have openly declared that they hate heaven, they hate you, and they want your misery. Do not sign up with these guys. Do not ever think about becoming a Guma.
Where's your crown, King? Nothing.
You're obligated to fight these guys.
Yep. Basically, this is your job. Go kill them.
And lastly, Kyle, bring up the Kindred. What they think of the Canaanite?
Yeah. Well, I mean, given that it starts with when the European pigs came to our doorstep, they brought the people of Cain, one of the terrible supernatural plagues of the West, with them. That should about tell you everything you need to know, but we can dive in a little bit further. They're superficially similar to the Rakshasa or Yin aspect of disciplines. They're pale of skin, they drink blood, they fear the touch of fire and the sun. They are masters at subjugating people. Their blood is an addictive substance, and people who drink of it come to love them. However, they are not incapable of enlightenment or even true understanding. But they are capable of reproducing themselves by, draining a mortal and, injecting their own blood into them and infest many areas of the West. All pretty standard vampire stuff.
It is a plague. It is a plague that they must eradicate. The curse of Cain must be destroyed.
Yes, they basically just kind of go over everything about the Kuei-Jin. They seem to know quite a bit about them, actually.
Because they were the ones that got the worst of it when it came to the Week of Nightmares.
Definitely, yes. They saw Ravnos and were like, "Fuck that."
They were in his direct line of fire, and they fought. The ones that were there in India fought to the last man, and all of them died.
Yep.
And
I'm surprised they knew all this much then.
They lost the Bodhisattva in the process.
Yeah. Now, I know we don't really talk about this a lot. Well, we did sort of talk about this a little bit when we talked about them as a whole, but Bodhisattvas is their antediluvians. They are the end point for them.
It's the middle ground between
them. Don't have a lot of them.
In power.
I would say that the Bodhisattva, unless it's like a particularly powerful Bodhisattva, they see it's implied that they cap out at the Methuselah level, but Methuselah is also very a lot in power.
Oh hell yes!
They're still pretty
pretty
scary.
But you know something? I just did the basic understanding of math, and if you compare the amount of Bodhisattvas that they should have to the amount of Methuselahs that vampires typically have, there's actually more Methuselah vampires than there are Bodhisattvas.
By a significant amount, yes. And even then, you start having trouble with these because Mandrake put a Generation 7 Ventru in this werewolf game, and I'm playing as on a rune, and even I'm in trouble fighting that guy.
Well, he's probably a tank, and that he could just use Dominate to go stop.
Oh no, he started fucking draining my blood, and like every point of damage I dealt to him, he healed back. So
Weasel fucked them up.
Thankfully we had a bonfire helping us.
This is one of the things I like about vampires in the World of Darkness so much, but also hate. There's always more vampires than you think.
You will never get rid of them.
Yep.
You will never get rid of them. The First Inquisition failed, and so will you.
Because you have to remember, almost all the Methuselahs you have known or met, at least double that number, and those Methuselahs are never known. Because vampires will just disappear and never reveal themselves.
Yeah, I've actually done a thought experiment once, like a couple of years ago, once I got into World of Darkness. I just thought of like, okay, if I was an elder and I just woke up one day and I started doing it like, okay, well, what if I was a Bruja elder, what if I was a Toreador or a Temiti elder? And I just thought, how would I go about like building my power base if I just woke up and like keeping a low profile? And I'm sorry, it's just fucking scary how much influence and standing a vampire can accrue in the shadows without anyone ever noticing.
Even amongst the supernatural, because you can't use the excuse, oh wow, they'll get found out. No. And this is one of the things people do forget about vampires. Yes, older vampires are dickheads, but you don't live to be 500 being a dumbass.
Mm-hmm. And let's see what we got here. So next thing we got, if I might go into it, is powers. We're not going to go over rituals. We're just going to go over the fun, immediate stuff you can use, the Shintai and the other arts.
The disciplines.
The chi arts. Now, we've already said it. We already said it before with the Bone Flowers episode. Tapestry is a must-have with the Bone Flowers and the Thrashing Dragons. This is a power that you will be using constantly throughout the entire game. It is why again? Because this is the power that lets you step sideways and interact with the Umbra.
Yes.
It also lets you bind spirits, or at least trap them long enough to bind them. I think it's this power as well at level 2.
And also for some of the fun stuff is Yang Prana. I mentioned this before when we did our first episode on these guys, but I'll reiterate some of this. Which is basically you going Super Saiyan to a very small extent. The first power principle of motion lets you spend 1 Yang point, and for every point, well, you can spend more if you want to, and for every point you gain, you get 3 dice to your initiative.
Well, all right then.
And also 1 additional action per next turn.
So you basically just get like 3 pips in celerity right off the bat.
If you combine that with Black Wind, it becomes something along the lines of 9.
Fuck that. That's a little busted.
You are moving faster than most Bruja Elders and any werewolf.
Now, I will stop you right there. You are definitely above an elder, or at least a very strong elder at this point, because you have to remember the XP cost is insane.
Yes, definitely.
Then Yang Mantle, which is you going Super Saiyan. It costs 1 point of Yang to invoke, and by using this, you can start reading people's aura, like Aspects level 2. You can tell a vampire when you see one. You can also use the Yang, start summoning Yang spirits to assist you. And finally, you can attune your mantle to a natural chi resonance of wood and just heal yourself and regain Yang chi by touching a piece of wood.
That's kind of sick.
It's that easy. So, if you were in a forest and you are fighting a Thrashing Dragon, you will not fight. You will not win that fight against that guy.
Unless you manage to one-tap them with a fucking shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, look here. All we have to say here, the fact that the Kuei-Jin have super forms or super states based on yin or yang is bullshit, but they do have them.
I don't know.
And then there's the Bone Shintai, which is just another, and the Demon Shintai, which are just more Super Saiyan forms.
Yeah, where Demon Shintai is another power that I'll take, which is just basically I spend a point of chi, like I'll spend 3 points of Demon Chi, and it will boost my attributes. Is what that power basically does. But the big one that we want to get into is their signature power, Flesh Shintai. Yeah.
You can become a woman.
One of the weaker Shintai, I would argue. Not as bombastic as like Bone, for example.
Well, given how fucking ridiculous Bone Shintai was.
Yeah, again, it was vicissitude on crack.
But the part of what made that Venture Elder fight easier is that, let me use the Boneflower guy again. During Mandrake's fight with them, I ended up fucking up 2 of my rolls, and I got grappled by the 7th generation Ventru. But then I just realized, I have Bone Shintai. I can just grow bones where he's holding me. And
now, to be clear here, it's probably not going to stop him, but he still holds you.
Oh no, it dealt 4 points of aggravated damage to him because I completely shredded his arm.
Did he not have fortitude?
He had fortitude. It didn't help him.
Johnny was very well in this instance.
Yeah. That all of a sudden that was the roll where I rolled 4 10s.
Oh, I see. That makes sense now. But yeah, no, that's a very good idea.
As for Flesh Shintai, do you know all the fun miracles you could have with vicissitude? Well, now we're going to reiterate some of those.
Yep.
The first power is fucking weird. It is called Long Neck, and it does exactly what you think it does. No roll is needed, and you don't need to spend anything for it. The neck or limbs can extend up to 5 feet per point of stamina the vampire has. Just you what we saying before about Monkey D. Luffy? Well, look at your fucking stamina score. What score is it? Oh, is it like 5 points? Well, now you can extend your neck or your arms or your legs up to 25 feet in length.
You become rubber.
Bombs the fucking way.
Yup. You become Plastic Man. You're literally invulnerable.
Also, decapitation will kill you, so just be very careful when using the power.
Just make sure nobody has a sword on them and you're fine.
If you become loose enough, maybe it's like cutting a piece of paper. Like you cut the neck, and then the neck just fucking bends around the sword.
I suppose that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Now we get freaky. Detach limb. The vampire spends a point of yang qi and 1 turn in concentration. The detached head, mass, or appendage is considered a small target. Difficulty 7 to hit with melee. Firearm difficulties increased by 1. A head mass is considered to have 4 health. A limb 3. A hand 2. In case of physical attributes of the head mass is considered to be the same as you when you were a vampire. Chi of both aspects and soul remain in the head mass, but the heart does not. If you want to use that, like you want to like rip out your heart and detach it. By far, the most common uses power of the attachment is to use it on your head. Under conventional means of locomotion, the head mass alternately slithers or scuttles along the ground at normal speed because it is largely boneless. The head mass may fit into any open area visible to the skull, as small as a quarter in size. It may use the viscera to constrict, strength +2 normal damage. You can get a firm grip by dropping onto a victim and botting them. Otherwise, the head mass may be attacked by striking, normally with dexterity and brawl. The body remains dormant and extremely vulnerable. Most vampires can take to surrounding themselves with retainers or easily hide their bodies in very secure locales. If the body is destroyed, the head mass is trapped in a visceral state. It can maintain an unlife of sorts, though it can never gain more than 4 levels of health and must spend an extra point of chi when animating itself to avoid drying out. Limbs, on the other hand, creep themselves along at ground at half speed. A limb may remain detached from a body for up to a night. At dawn, the limb ceases to remain animate and rapidly disintegrates. Limbs may attack, strangle, or grasp objects at any distance, though if a limb is outside the vampire's line of sight, it may see its target only if the vampire is focusing on it through some sort of clairvoyant power.
You could basically
so imagine all the fun.
You have the hand from Evil Dead 2 just walking around like flipping people off.
Yeah.
Hand went bad. I had to cut it off.
But also, you can pull a Dio Brando at the end of part 1. Is a Tremere burning you to death with lower flames? Just use this power to pop your head off, get 4 levels of health that you did not have before, and slither away.
Now to be you that you're still very easy to kill, but it is a very good way to get out of dodge immediately.
It is.
I do believe that they mentioned that they also like to practice Jade Shintai to just float, like fly away. The head just flies away with Jade Shintai.
That's the 1,000 Whispers, and we'll get to that during the episode. But yes, you combine those two, and you get a very tricky combination.
Oh yeah.
And next up is the Lotus Cloud. The vampire spends a point of yang qi, then exhales like a cloud. Mortals within the cloud automatically become giddy and highly suggestible as if experiencing a narcotic drug. Humans may roll willpower difficulty 6 to resist, and may certain specially trained mortals, such as a martial arts master or a demon hunter. A narcoticized victim can take no aggressive action and is likely to succumb to any pleasurable suggestion. If the victim is aggressively attacked, he defends himself, but at -1 to her dice pools. The power lasts for 1 scene.
Don't fight the person that gave you all the good drugs.
A save or suck that is present on crack once it goes off.
Honestly, freaking hate checks like that.
It's also going to fuck up any human encounter. You use this on a group of humans, guess what? That group of humans is whatever the fuck you want them to.
They're all just gonna dance around like just friggin' jamming and shit, throwing their shirts off.
Next up is something fucking crazy. Pellicet. The vampire spends a point of yang qi and 1 or more health level to attach a pellicet from the body. This is a small creature that can run around like a fucking homunculus or a gremlin that takes the form of a grotesque insect monster. For each level of health, For each level of health the Pellicet burrows, it has 2 health levels and a strength and stamina score of 1. The creature has a dexterity of 3, mental attributes of 2, brawl 2, dodge 2, and can deliver a sharp bite for strength plus strength normal damage. It travels with a bizarre hopping gait, it can climb fairly well, and can speak in a shrill, abrasive voice. The Pellicet may remain active after it's attached for an entire night, but immediately withers and dies at dawn. If the Pellicet returns to the vampire before dawn, it may merge back into the vampire's body, and the vampire immediately regains the health that it spent on the creature. If the Pellicet is killed or fails to return, the vampire loses the health level and must heal it normally. So.
Damn. Fuck, man.
Homunculus.
You create the homunculus from Smiling Friends that sucks on the guy's toe. It just runs around and fights for you.
Stop, all of you. I've got live on the homunculus.
It's the fun. All the fun things you can do with that power too. Like you just make this thing, like you put it in a guy's coat pocket, and then he just doesn't know it's there.
I don't know. I kind of want to see a whimsical horror adventure of the homunculus and the detached hand of a Hangeyuk or of a thrashing dragon.
But by this point, Greed, if you remember JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you are now getting images of Chocolata from Part 5 and the way he fought.
Chocolata.
To let you know what that is, Kyle, that was a gay clown priest doctor, I'm not even shitting you, who fought with magical mold that he could use to extend his lifespan. And how did he fight?
I remember him.
Yeah, by chopping off pieces of his body and throwing them at you, and then the piece of his body would chase after you, grab you, and because they were not attached to his brain, they felt no pain. So they felt no resistance as they just, shoved his thumb through the flesh of your neck and pierced your carotid artery and killed you that way.
I really don't get how the fuck these fucking powers come about in JoJo.
Now I'll be clear here. I'm pretty sure I said this once during the previous Kuei-Jin episode. The reason why Kuei-Jin powers are so busted and broken is they're supposed to represent all the supernatural powers for across all of Asia. I mean, the long neck thing, that's based on a yokai from Japan.
Yes. And we're not even done yet because what you said about Kitsune, we now have that power. 10,000 forms, level 5. The power consists of 2 Yang points to activate. The vampire must make a perception plus athletics roll, difficulty 7. Success enables the vampire to take nearly any humanoid form she can imagine. For an extra Yang point expenditure, the vampire can grow an extra pair of arms or a pair of bat-like wings. These duplicate the effects of the equivalent demon Shintai power if you were using it. Duplicating a specific person or becoming an animal requires perception of plus athletics difficulty 9, but possible. You just need 1 success. So,
I mean, difficulty 9 is pretty steep, but it is a pretty powerful thing. Does that make sense?
As you use this to become Goro from Mortal Kombat. And now imagine this, because just about every Thrashing Dragon you encounter takes Demon Shintai. So you get a big old boost to all of your physical attributes, and then you use this power in the natural boss fight.
Yeah, no, that's a little scary.
And if you combine that fucking Yang Prana, and if they have Black Wind, you have a guy with 4 arms who is built like a tank, who is moving at 9 actions per turn.
Yeah, no, you're going to get the fuck beat at you.
Exactly. Do you see why the Kindred don't fuck with the Kuei-Jin?
Yeah, because they do that shit.
It's fucking ridiculous. Now that's a boss fight, what I'm describing, but a player could reasonably reach that level if he put enough XP into that power. No.
Yeah.
It's not as stupid as the Bone Shintai was, but that's still very strong.
Yeah, Adam went completely, Adam was just like,
He was
no,
like, this is bullshit.
No, this is just no. This is just no.
With all the fun powers you have with this, I like the Kuei-Jin. Like, if you want to go for like a full Dynasty Warriors combat encounter, these guys, you can just clear an entire room. But granted, you're supposed to be fighting spirits with these guys who have 40 levels of health. So it works out.
So you're going to need all the help you can get.
And there we go. So, Thrashing Dragons, do we have any concluding thoughts, or is that it?
I want to say one thing.
Yes.
These guys can make fetishes. That's it.
They can't.
These guys
fuck.
They have a ritual that we didn't go over, but they have it where, the rite of binding and the rite of the fetish. They can use those.
Okay, cool. I mean, they do deal with spirits.
I mean, yeah.
So,
I mean, the big thing behind fetish is legitimately all the thing you have to do about fetish is you just have to figure out how to bind the spirit to an item and figure out how to call upon the power within the spirit in the item. That is just what a fetish is. It's just that simple.
Let it sink in with everything we said before about their powers. Now add a clave to the equation.
Fuck.
I don't think they can make it clave.
I may be wrong, but I think from the examples in the book, it seems that they favor more technological fetishes, I believe.
Like WoW workers do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I hear you when you said that idea of making a clave, but I don't think they can make a clave because claves are unique in how they're made.
You give that. You need the spirit of a loon and
you
you
make
need
a
a
team
silver
clave.
sword.
But the big thing for why claves are so good, they're silver swords. The big reason is they're somehow made with silver, made with iron, not cold iron. Make that very damn clear.
Mm-hmm.
And made with lunar spirits to make them viable. That's the big reason why claves are so special. They're like unique to werewolves or just unique to shape changers in general.
And your permanent gnosis score is reduced while holding one.
Yeah, they're special.
Greed have to protect his precious changelings by reminding us it's not cold iron, guys. It's totally not cold iron.
But it could be.
Into the earth. Well, here. And Johnny, you refuse to do me an episode, but I want my episode on the 10,000 dreams or 10 million dreams.
Oh man, that book. Fuck it, I'll be on that.
Okay, as soon as we have enough content to carry an episode, I'll make it.
It's all about the content, baby.
And so there we are. I am now out of ideas.
Yeah, I mean,
Dragons.
Shit.
The Thrashing Dragons.
Oh, right.
I mean, reading the book itself, I'm like, I get what they're trying to be and like how it's all about, moving on, enjoying life to the fullest. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if they actually do a whole lot for the Kuei-Jin.
Well, no, they don't.
In grand scheme of things, no. In all reality, they don't do a lot. I'm going to be honest with you here. Based on what we have told before, they don't do a lot in the grand scheme of things. But from how they work, like I said with the Red Talons, they don't care about the great. How do I put this here? Their faction doesn't care about what everyone else in the faction should care about.
No. They're just off playing their own game at the end of the day.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like we want to talk to spirits and go live our lives.
Which is one of the reasons why, again, I make this very clear. I like World of Darkness so much here. They will just simply say, here's a big important faction. Do they do anything for the meta plot? No, but would a faction like this naturally exist? Yes. And you just have to deal with them.
And you know what? That makes perfect sense for them. I mean, my meme is still accurate, but overall, I mean, I could see myself being a Thrashing Dragon.
Become the surfer. Become the surfer, bro, Kyle. I know you want to.
I definitely do, even though I don't live anywhere where I have a good surf, but I would love to.
Well, let's at least see the character ideas they had at the back of the book before we end.
Okay, we're going to go over one. We're doing one, that's it.
All right. Which one you guys want to use?
Do the woman that had the fucking long-ass neck. Like, ever since Adam pointed out that every single character in these books is drawn with this like fucking giraffe neck, I can't stop seeing it now.
Oh, the Black Widow that has like the fucking like neck thing.
I know we just said that these guys have long necks to power, but good God.
Yeah, no, it's like an hourglass.
No, I'm so fucking sorry. I saw her quote and I laughed my ass off.
You seem very virile. I have come to suck your dick.
Okay, so the character's called the Black Widow. Her quote is, "You seem very virile, ... What do you do for a living?" And her equipment is cocktail dress, high heels, a bottle of Viagra, packet of condoms, filing knife.
Now with Rouge yet ready, my hubby's getting so hard he's coming all over my face, and I'm so glad I got this new pill that dissolves underneath his tongue.
When I read that quote, it fucking sent me.
That
This is
just
a gold
kinda
digger.
fucked.
This is what this character is. This is just what this is.
Basically. And now she is a femme fatale.
We are not discussing the Kung Fu rapper on the next page. Whereas
that one is
no. I know
Just
there's a certain
rapper.
word for white people that act like black people, but is there one for Asians?
I
Yes.
don't know, but you know.
We can't. Whatever it is, we can't say it here.
Spoken
we
in
have a-
English with an
Fuck you, biatch. I'll
atrocious
put my
Japanese
dollar-
accent. Fuck you, bitch! I put
Hold on,
my
let me put
silly
my
fist right through your grill, motherfucker.
If I got beef with you, if you got beef with me, bring it on.
I love the equipment. Gat, nunchucks, Tim's, the latest urban fashion in America.
He's wearing the fucking Tim's.
He's wearing Tim's. That's funny as shit.
Next up is their fucking generic martial artist. Like, who gives a fuck? Next up is second sort gardener, who is a thrashing dragon social worker. I'm not even kidding you.
That's kind of interesting.
She goes around, looks on the single mom and her kids, and observes and records the human's experience.
Oh, by the way, I do have a player in my Kuei-Jin game. She's a Thrashing Dragon. She's basically wants to be the Ghost Rider from Marvel.
That's kind of sick.
That's not a Thrashing Dragons, then. That would be a
That'd be a Devil Tiger, I feel.
What
yeah,
the
that'd
guys
be a Devil
themselves as
Tiger.
gods.
Ghost Rider.
It's a heretic. Or Bornegon become
Yeah,
one.
would be something.
And then we have there's the thousand-faced puppet thunder. Thousand-faced thunder puppet. Where look at that character design and tell me what year this was made.
I can hear like the 90s Billy Idol coming out of this image.
You hear the opening credits of Matrix Reloaded.
Yep.
Of
yes,
Matrix
no,
Revolution.
I want to make this clear. The style we talked about, quote,
So we're talking about what?
fucking archetype was co-rapper. I'm not joking.
Co-rapper.
And so there you go. So that's the whole thing. Like what I've been saying before about the Kindred of the East. Don't take it too seriously. Just have fun with the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Always
like
have fun.
literally just have fun with it.
Yeah. It's not meant to be taken that seriously. Like games are meant to be played, not lived.
No, just crack
Also, my
open a
power is
fucking
not
shows
coming
you,
to the
down the
back
whole
on.
bottle, and then have fun.
Right.
My power
And
is
there-
not come back on.
And there we have it. Greed is in total darkness. And that's our
And
episode.
we'll see you next
Power
time.
doesn't come on. I might not be able to make it to work in the damn morning because my phone will be fucking dead.
You might want to get off the call now. Let's go ahead and set alarm.
Bitch, my phone's at 3%. It's gonna die when I sleep.
Well, there we have it.
No, use your laptop to charge it.
So,
All right.
So,
Good night, everybody.
so to help Greed wake up in the morning, we're going to head out. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, this was a very fun. Oh yeah, my last character concept. Let me say this real quick. My other character concept, which was more of a joke one, it was just basically 1,000 dragons, whatever. Fucking baby mama with like 5 different damn pure kids and says, "I want to make a 6."
That's
racial.
nutty.
It's racial.
I need to make a
Racial.
slapping noise again.
Mandrake, thank you
No,
for coming on
let
to the
me-
episode with us,
No.
by the way, and same with you, Greed.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Good night,
Just nice
everybody.
being here.
All right, see ya.